1819 News.
Residents of the Meadowbrook community in Hoover have now launched a petition that opposes the relocation of the Islamic Academy of Alabama. The school is seeking a zoning variance in order to move to the Meadowbrook Corporate Park and convert an office building into a school and community center. Opponents are arguing that the move would disrupt the park's business environment. The city's Planning and Zoning Board is going to consider the variance request on June 9th with a final vote to follow from the Hoover City Council. The Islamic Academy currently serves about 200 students. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
Authorities in Calera continue the search for a missing man. 72-year-old Reuben Wahaika went missing 2 weeks ago while visiting from Kenya. Wahaika was in Alabama to attend a family graduation and was last seen on May 15th wearing khaki pants and a plaid shirt. Despite extensive searches, police believe that Wahaika may have gotten into a ride and could be far from the area. Wahaika speaks little English and may even be confused. Anyone with information is urged to call Calera Police. A Lauderdale County grand jury has indicted a former fast food manager on 26 child sex abuse-related charges. Garrett Wilkins worked at a Florence restaurant and is now accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old employee and exchanging explicit content. Wilkins remains in jail on a $3.6 million bond. His arraignment is set for August 5th. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
If your decision for new floors is based on brands and selection, wanting perfect and professional installation, or the kind of customer service that doesn't even exist at big box stores, obviously, you gotta shop Prattville Carpet. But if you're looking for the lowest price, in that case, it's still Prattville Carpet. Because during their summer sale going on now, you can get tile, luxury vinyl plank, and carpet, all for just $1.39 a square foot.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Come to Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where every lunch is made with love. For only $9.99, seniors can relish their Meat and Three special lunch combo, including a drink and bread. Regular sizes are available for just $13.99. Every dish at Epicure and Jack's Tavern is made from scratch daily. No shortcuts, just delicious hearty meals. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit Epicure and Jack's Tavern today.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage Pre-Approval Letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I guess there's going to be some big send-off in the Oval Office in about 20 shopping minutes between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I don't know. I'm at the point of... I'll put it this way. I had the experience this morning. Welcome into Friday's show. I'm sitting there reading like all the latest like Bitcoin conference news, some really cool products being put out. Watched Elon's presentation of what they're trying to do with SpaceX and Starship. Also saw an update that they have been running without drivers, Tesla robo-taxis through Austin a month early, and it's gone off without a hitch. And I'm like, well, this is really freaking cool. The Mars stuff in particular is like, man, that's ambitious. What they're planning on doing in just the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years it'll be incredible to see them at least go for it. And then I switch over to political news.
Oh, why'd you do that, Joey?
And I'm like, he's better than y'all. Like, he's not a perfect person. He's got a heck of a lot of flaws, but he's a better person. You are an inferior human being to this guy. Like the cattiness, the bucket of crabs effect, pulling people back down to the gutter. How dare you go for big, bold things? So I think it's a shame that Elon will be exiting and having to end his 130-day special government employee status.
But can he be offered that again? Like, say, 2 days out, could he say, hey, I need you back for another 130 days? Or does he have to be gone for so long?
No, I think he's still going to be an advisor to a lot of stuff. But here's how the New York Times is framing Elon's planned exit.
Yeah.
Quote, it is unclear whether Mr. Musk, 53, was taking drugs when he first became a fixture at the White House this year and was handed the power to slash the federal bureaucracy, but he has exhibited erratic behavior, insulting cabinet members, gesturing like a Nazi, and garbling his answers in a staged interview. What? So, yes, we'll try to carry a little bit if it's interesting enough, this Oval Office send-off that Trump's putting on for Elon, but there's plenty more to get to today. Both Eddie Bader and Craig Monger here in the studio with me today. How you two gentlemen doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you, Joey?
I'm all right. Pretty good since we ate a lot last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That was pretty tasty.
It was delicious.
Right.
I just said I was confused. It was a very big, intimidating menu, so I just said, give me whatever Eddie's having.
Got number
it's like a
36, but I couldn't tell you what it's really called.
It's a big lava rock like bowl.
Molcajete.
That's it.
Molcajete.
Molcajete.
Yes. And it's got shrimp, cactus, chorizo sausage, chicken, steak, and carnita meat, and cream cheese, and jalapeno was floating around in there.
Ooh.
It was delicious.
I think I got the queso flamado.
I know you got some shrimp
with shrimp
cheese.
And it's like comes in the fajita skillet, sizzling with all that queso and onions.
I saw that and I was just like, ooh, that looks good.
It was fantastic.
Just shrimp covered in cheese. Oof.
And that's your friend that runs that place.
My buddy Marcelino.
Yeah. That is what a great spot.
Let me tell you just a little bit about Marcelino. Great friend of mine, known him for 15 years or so. He was a temp employee at Hyundai, and then he worked for one of the suppliers there at NEMAC. He used to bring in this incredible food.
Yeah.
And he always called me Turkey Neck as a redneck. So one day I was like, what is that? It was menudo. I don't know if you got, I'm sure, Craig, you've had menudo.
Yes.
I had never had menudo. I was like, sure, I'll
Wait,
try
isn't
it.
that a boy band?
Exactly. That's what I thought. And I was
Yeah.
giggling, but it's a bean.
I was
And
about to say you tried menudo. Whoa. Bump the brakes, Glenn Greenwald.
It was delicious, but it was so good. So from then on, he used to just start bringing me food. And got to know him real well. We do fishing and stuff like that. Well, his contract ended at Hyundai, and he called me one day, and he's in California. I was like, "What are you doing in California?" He said, "I'm in sushi school." I was like, "What?"
Sushi school.
A company here in town wanted them to take over their sushi business, so they sent him to sushi school for I think 3 or 4 months. And he used to send me these pictures. I was like, "Where are you doing this at? Or did you really do this? Looks like something you took a picture of." He's like, "No, that's me." He is a true chef, and it took me 10 years to know that about him.
And it's just so cool to see a person develop that skill, put together a great shop. And it's one thing, there's a lot of hype. You want your friends to succeed. So you might be like, am I biased here? No, I went in blind. That's some of the best Mexican food I've ever had.
It is. And, his whole story. And a good thing about somebody like Marcelino, he's got a great story. You know me, I'm a sucker for that. And he's just a great person. Just solid dude, man.
So there's a lot going on in the news. Honestly, I wish we could just eat and enjoy ourselves, but there is a lot going on in the news.
The good news?
Democrats are also threatening revenge against Elon. If we get back in power, he of course broke some laws. So again, he's a superior person to all of you. I don't care how many popularity contests, how many laws you have on your side. Like, I'm sorry. I guess I'm at the end of the day, and I'm still an Ayn Rand guy. I still have that mentality of like, no, there are incredible individuals that help move the world forward, and often they are burned at the stake with the very fire they taught their brothers to light.
Yep.
And it just happens over and over and over again. So we'll see. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion the Dems actually win the midterms, at least the House.
I don't think so.
Because the more I watch them, they are
what do they
mess.
got, man?
They're absolutely, well, they have some fat chick who says she really loves frat boys and knows how to reach out to men. We can get to that.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Not appealing.
Right. And there's a clip of her from the Democratic National Convention where she says, the old line goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. It's like, is this a joke? Is this, who told her to say that?
She kind of reminded me of that Miss Alabama that wasn't really Miss Alabama there for a while. The large march that they put out there. That's what she reminded me of. And I didn't know we were supposed to be taking her seriously, but apparently we are. My bad.
No, I recently saw a video where a guy in a boat ran over a manatee.
Ouch.
And that's what it reminded me of. The whole scene, not just a manatee, like the whole scene, the entire scene, just the horror of it all. I felt all of that. The Supreme Court rules Trump can revoke protected status for 500,000 illegal aliens. Consumer sentiment better than expected, as well as inflation numbers better than expected. Income growth for people better than expected.
Yeah.
So we'll get to all this stuff, but I just find I want to go around to the panel here. I mean, and maybe you disagree with me, Craig. Am I giving Elon too much credit here?
I don't know if you're giving him too much credit. If it is definitely more tolerable than people saying sort of trust the Elon plan. It makes a lot more sense than trust the Trump plan currently at the moment. So I don't think you're. And I think you are a bit of a fanboy, but I think you're being
and lately I've been laying it on thick, and by lately I mean the last several months. Number one, because I really did thank you for buying Twitter. That's awesome.
That was a big move.
It's a big deal. The stuff he's up to in terms of technology, I think there might be some downsides to it, but it's pretty awesome. But I really started laying it on thick when I did see the reaction from the political types. Like, if we blow up enough stuff and pitch a big enough fit and claim he's killing people and he's stealing your social security number, and that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to lean fully into Musk is better than you. I just have to go in that direction because some of these people need to hear it. They need to hear that, no, not everybody's freaking equal. Some people do more, go for more. And even while you're complaining the whole way, life's going to be a little better. So yeah, I'm glad that you agree that I'm not laying it on too thick. What do you think of the guy, Eddie?
Oh, I'm a fanboy too. So
yeah.
I
mean, is this a recent thing?
No, I've been a fanboy for him for a while. especially, what sold the deal on me was when he came over to the Republican side. And the reason for he said it, after watching Trump attempted assassination, that's all he needed to see.
Right.
But yeah, I own Tesla stock. I'm a fan.
Oh, really? I didn't know you were a shareholder.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I didn't buy it because I buy it because I believe in the product. I don't own the product, but I believe that is a future of the product. But I also see the CEO. He's the hardest working person I know.
Right.
Out of all the stocks that I don't own a bunch. He's the only CEO that I can actually see what he's doing.
So I'm going to pull up here on the screen, just for an example I was talking about earlier. Here's the Mars flight plan for SpaceX and the Starship program.
Oh.
And there are gaps because they show a graphic that every 2 years there's this open window where you can do an elliptical orbit from Earth and meet Mars on its path and land within a few months. And it's 1,000 times further journey than to the moon.
Oh, wow.
But in 2026, they're going to be sending up 5 landers. Payload per ship tons, I think 10 tons. The goal is to prove we can get to Mars, send viable vehicles up there, and demonstrate key technologies needed for Mars transit and landing. That's just next year. But you're getting to the point where all the way by 2033, they're sending 500 landers up there, like 300 tons payload per ship. Increase independence from Earth, mine and process Mars resources, global mobility, global comms on Mars. That's a heck of an ambitious plan. Now that might fall apart, but
well, you got to have a goal, right?
But that's a heck of a goal to set for what?
Right.
9-8 years into the future?
Yep. You got to have a goal.
Pretty
You can't just say,
incredible
I'm going to do it. And you got to have a business plan. Even if you go to a bank and say, hey, this is what I want to do, they're going to say, hey, I want to see it on writing. Show me what you can really do.
And then apparently they are going to be trying to catch they caught the booster. They're going to be trying to catch the Starship in the next 2-3 months, possibly.
That's going to be cool.
And there's going to be a lot of these launches. I'm sure some of them are going to blow up and go horribly wrong as they test the limits of certain things. So I thought the Babylon Bee hit this on the head, like just perfectly. They said Musk leaves federal government job of reducing debt to go solve easier problem of colonizing Mars. Well, and I nailed that. He's right. I think he's
sad as it is.
Right.
That's exactly right.
And it's not just Elon. Anybody that's willing to take risks, that's willing to think outside the box, think from first principles, and do things that are to help advance and better mankind through just that ingenuity and that hard work. To your point, it's not just, oh, he's smart. He's one of the hardest working people in the world. And so we should celebrate people like that. That should be.
We do if he totes the narrative that we want to see.
But it's an idea at first. Well, I heard Norm Macdonald bring this up, but also Peter Thiel's brought this up. We used to have these things called what? Ticker tape parades.
Yeah, ticker tape parades. That's right.
And it's like the astronauts, they were coming home.
But Joey, they were not good for the environment.
Or these great industrialists and stuff. And now it's like some hairy, ugly dude and assless chaps who's like, I love men. And I'm like, that's not what why are we proud about? What did you do? What did you accomplish?
Putting on those assless chaps, I guess.
Yeah. And it's one thing they have like a Christmas parade. Okay, that's cute. Or a Thanksgiving Day parade. But it's like it used to be you would celebrate the great innovators, the great industrialists, the people that really took the chances and became essentially heroes, inspired people. And I guess the closest we get to that now is what? A Super Bowl parade.
Yep. That's about it.
Yeah. Sports figures. That's about it.
That's about it.
And instead it's like, no, let's identify every little group. And because they're not the norm, we're going to put them on a pedestal and be like, isn't this wonderful? And it's just ridiculous.
Well, he's fake. And that's another thing. You can see through a lot of the just fakeness.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like about Elon. I haven't seen, I won't say nothing surprised me, but for the most part, besides the 100 kids that he's got, nothing's really surprised me. He's a hardworking guy.
Wait, the kid thing surprised you?
A little bit, but it doesn't disappoint me at all. If I had that kind of money, Joey, do you not want to have grandkids and hundreds of grandkids and things like that? And you could support them. If I had that money.
If you could support them.
Yeah, I'm all about that. But,
But after the whole Ashley St. Clair thing, sometimes you got to pick and choose a little wisely. Actually, he's got a fairly good track record. A lot of the women who he's wifed up or just gotten preggers, they're actually often like very brilliant people in their own right and accomplished in their own right.
Look at Elon 15 years ago and then look at what he's married to and had children with. he's batting way out of his league.
Well, but then he does have the dark side. So you have to remember, we all know what Johnny Depp went through, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have to remember Elon dated Amber Heard for a while. And at that part of the biography Walter Isaacson wrote up, everybody's like, I don't know what he's doing. Because everybody saw that woman is nuts. Nuts.
Did it kind of go into what he saw in her, what the attraction
I think
was?
he likes the drama. He had a pretty rough family home life as a kid, and I think he's somewhat attracted to that drama, that darkness to a degree.
The darkness.
But he's able to always kind of get out of it without going too far into it.
He's got a button. His car will just come pick him up, and he can ride away. Yeah, the whole Batman thing.
And like, so you see people like this come around every once in a while, but I don't know. It's not like you need to worship the guy. It's just that I wish our priorities would be a little better. Now, I think most Americans, and this is why most Americans voted for Trump, are down with this program. But there is an entrenched class in Washington, D.C., and there's all sorts of little people out in the hinterlands that believe all the nonsense pumped into them that say, no, our job is to tear folks like that down. Let's create more systems of dependency. Let's redistribute the wealth.
True.
Everything's not fair unless, we control everything as we please.
That's so true, Joey.
Here's the vice president being asked about Musk's time at Doge. This is on Newsmax.
I think what he's done is really incredible. People sort of forget that when he came into the U.S. government, we had never had a full-scale effort to actually look at, are we spending the American people's dollars wisely? And he found in a very short period of time over $170 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse. I think there's also an effort by the media to sort of say the Elon era is over. And I think that's actually totally wrong. Now, he has obviously a day job, and he's got to go back to his day job to run his companies. But the Doge effort will continue. Elon will continue to be an important advisor for both me and the president. And most importantly, the job of making the government more efficient, of not wasting people's money, that has to continue. I think it's one of the most important mandates that we got from the American people. We're going to keep on executing on that mandate.
And as Ron Paul put out a video today saying Doge was truly in the spirit of the American Revolution. Like, this was actually that same spirit that animated the founding of this country. And it's rare that you ever see anything like that get anywhere close to power. So we'll see. This press conference is coming up from the Oval at about 12:30 our time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. We can get into that in just a second. First, I'm going to hit a break early. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and you've worked with them.
I have, and in fact, I had a call last night. Somebody was looking for a roofer. Apparently, they had a bad time with the roofer they thought they originally chose, so gave him their information. He was thrilled to death that they're going to come out. I bet they're going to come out today.
And they show up on time.
On time. They do a great job, man. I can tell you, it's been last time it's been over a year since they did the kind of put the new screws back in my roof. Certainly by now, if there were any screws, nails in my tires, things like that, I would find them. Nothing.
No soda bottles?
Nope.
No fast food bags?
No trash? No nothing, man.
There you go.
They did a great job. And they actually came out and kind of gave a friend of mine, a client of ours, an estimate on her roof. She knew she had some problems, but it looks like it's going to be an insurance job. And because of them, they're kind of helping her guide through that. So saved her some money. Big time.
Folks, again, the basics here. Free inspections, free estimates. They're insurance specialists. They can help you with that insurance claims process. Yep. And they will sit down to your satisfaction, explain, here's exactly the problem you got. Here's exactly how we're going to fix it. Asphalt, shingle roof, metal roof, either way, they can help you out.
Yep.
So y'all check out River Region Contracting today. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey Nutty, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
It's time to butter up with Biscuits Baseball in 2025. Join us at Riverwalk Stadium for all of our Day of the Week promotions, including tacos and tall boys on Tuesdays, Military Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursday, Max Fireworks Saturdays, and Lil Crumbs and Bark in the Park on Sundays. For tickets and more information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call us at the box office at 323-BALL. Butter up!
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a frontal system swinging through the state today with showers and thunderstorms out ahead of it for at least part of the day. I think later in the afternoon, the storms move out with today's high in the lower 80s. Then we'll look for some clearing this evening and tonight and cooler overnight low temperature down to about 59. For the weekend, look for less humid air, comfortable days, cooler nights, plenty of sunshine, low 80s for a high on Saturday and mid 80s on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Sorry, I'm messing with my mic here.
Yeah. You can do that off air.
You know how used to just weird sounds people are hearing out of this radio station at this point with our squeaky chairs and our lobby conversations?
Yes.
All right.
Actually, yeah. The other day I was putting up that sign on the boat, so I had the background, Greg's show on.
Yeah.
So I tried to literally audio myself, and all you could hear was Greg's show in the background. So,
yeah. No, every time I listen to like Greg, I'm hearing a lot of like squeaking and moving around in the chair. I'm like, what the heck is that?
Oh, that's your chair too. It ain't this squeak master over here.
I don't know. Let's go to Soldier Boy. He called in. How you doing?
What up, Soldier Boy?
What's up, guys? Let me ask you a question.
All right.
Why is it I see these signs all around? Help wanted. I got friends that go there, take their resumes, go there and apply for jobs, and they're not hiring. Why advertise it? Why bill it on your damn front door on your windows, and then use it as a cop-out excuse because there's no customer service "Oh, we don't have enough people to work. They just don't want to work anymore."
But they're not actually hiring.
Yeah,
Not actually hiring.
sounds like it's a great excuse for crappy service.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And one of them's a barbecue place in town.
Mm.
I won't mention the place. Happens to be on Vaughn and Taylor, but
that
yeah, I mean,
that being said, I mean that's an issue. I don't care where you go, as far as right now, especially here in this area.
Yeah,
help sucks. Customer service here sucks.
It really does.
It's
I
shocking.
Went to
yeah.
In Jackson, there was a young kid working across the counter, and their floor plans differently to get into the drive-through. Okay,
Right.
so I finally get through, and the guy says, "He said you don't even know how to get into a building. Get smart." I said, "Don't get smart with me like that, you know." And the next thing you know, he started running his mouth again. And I said, "Dude, I don't know if you realize I'm 6'5". I can hurdle this damn little countertop and jump and beat your ass." Okay. You know what he said?
God.
Oh yeah, he got bad with me. Oh, he's the
Yeah,
one
what
that
did he
started
say?
with
Come
me.
on.
Well, that's what he based with me. What he said, and I said, "Where's the manager at?" And the manager, "You know what she told me? That's what corporate is sending us. That's all we can get." And I said, "So you tolerate it just to have a human warm body behind the counter?" She goes, "Yes."
Bring on the robots.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, I'm at this point.
Look
Yeah.
at- Well, go order some tacos at Taco Bell on Vaughn or Taylor, Vaughn Road. Plus some Walmart.
Hmm.
Taco Bell there.
Yeah.
You know what she told me? She's got 4 people working, putting tacos, assembling them together, right? And I went up to the counter. She said, "You have to order on through the kiosk." What?
Yep.
You're being replaced, people. You don't even realize it. They're stupid enough to even realize. And once these machines start to know how to put the enchiladas and the tacos and the burritos together, you're in big trouble.
They're pretty much there.
Yeah, I was going to say, right now you can do a whole robotic pizza shop.
Yep.
Everything. Robot.
Where at?
Well, you just go online, you buy the whole thing. It's a franchise. You can buy the whole thing. If you go, it is something that I loved about Japan, but it's their whole vending machine world. Man, you can go in a store and everything's vending machine. You never see anybody.
Yeah, it's not
The
just
greatest customer service ever.
It's not just food robots
Right.
either.
Oh no, not you're right. You can get blue chips.
It happened at automotive places, automated places.
Oh yeah, like Carvana.
Was it California? California is what, $25 an hour basic pay or something?
Yeah, and no, this is why I say to the leftists, go ahead and raise minimum wage. Just bring on the kiosk and the robots quicker.
Yep.
That's what happened in California, didn't it?
I don't know if it's happened all the way, but
It has happened there and New York. And yeah, the places with, say, the higher costs and the higher minimum wages definitely see this adoption earlier.
that and they're closing them down. They're closing down restaurants. Even what's that big burger chain out there? They closed them down.
No, that's true. That one up there on Congressman Nickerson Road, the brand new one.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what's so funny about the story. A friend of mine and his partner went and got a business plan together, went and got the money, bought the land, and bought the franchise. Right across from the Walmart, a brand new Burger King.
Right.
I've been there a couple of times in the last 6-7 months. So I saw it over there. I said, "You know what? Soldier Boy feels like a double beef Whopper today for cheese, you know." So I go over there and there's somebody in the parking lot, and there's signs all over the windows. And you know what it said on there? Due to employee issues, we're unable to stay in business. Closed.
I'd rather them close down though than have crappy employees. Sucker me in there and then tick me off.
Well, here's the thing: is now when you if you're a bank and you got your business plan, do you have to come and have like I've got 30 contracts from 30 employees that are guaranteed are going to work?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the point? Is that the point we're going to have to get it? I totally agree with you. It's going to get automated.
Get
That's what happened
automated
in California.
We'll start importing more labor.
I mean, what's your theory on like why people don't want to work? Why people who are working so bad at their gig?
Well, maybe the same reason why there's meanwhile the governor wanted to get rid of overtime tax exemption on this last time passing. You're not rewarding people that want to work.
No reward.
There's no reward.
Did you say worth the squeeze, my friend?
A lady told me at Publix, she's I won't say what Publix, but she's the manager there. She said, "I would rather have she says 2 or 3 employees over the age of 60.
Yep.
Than to have a bunch of 20 or 30, 20-year-olds.
Yep.
She said, I'll get more work out of them.
You will. Well, you get work ethic. They're already trained. They already know how to act.
The work ethic.
Yeah.
Exactly. The work ethics. Exactly.
Well,
and she does.
You keep going around and figuring out the worst spots so I can avoid them. I appreciate the call. Thank you, Soldier Boy.
See you, Soldier Boy.
2729228. Now, a place that has fantastic service and remarkable food. In fact, they've gone back to the original recipes.
I know what you're talking
Sometimes the first time you do it, you did it right.
That's right.
That's Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
They're back to those original barbecue recipes that made Smokehouse famous all those years ago. Same location they've always been. They're Main Street in Millbrook. And whether you're looking for lunch, like they have a daily lunch meat and 3, which is just fantastic. It's what you expect. And you can get it dine in, take out. Also an amazing dinner. And I mean, what would you be eating and Craig's very hungry at this moment. What would you be eating? Ribs?
I would say ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, ribs sound pretty good.
I could do a pulled pork sandwich today, especially with a little hot barbecue sauce on it.
Mm-hmm. If I went to the breakfast, I would just give me a double bowl of the cheese grits and give me an order of bacon. I'm good.
And them cheese grits or something else.
And I love their bacon because that order is not 2 pieces.
No.
It's 3, and they're big, long, thick pieces of bacon. They do it right. So, folks, just look at the menu online, and you'll be like, I have to go there like right now. Again, you can stop by real quick, take it out, or, stretch your legs out, enjoy the company, some fellowship. They've got an open bar on Friday nights, especially. Enjoy some entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great spot to be. That's Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And when you stop by, be sure to tell them that Joey, Eddie, and Craig, as well as on the radio, sent you. So I guess we're all in a holding pattern, not just us, but every news organization for this joint press conference with Trump and Musk. And apparently everybody has their take. One Democrat saying Doge was a failure. Nothing was made more efficient. Like, yeah, no thanks to you, to any of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have others saying the reason Musk failed is because of democracy. You know what? I agree. And democracy's crap if that's the way we're going to have democracy. You pitch a fit, you blow up stuff, you lie, cheat, and steal your way, while you also manipulate and charm.
Yeah.
And so maybe democracy is what drove Elon out of town. I got a feeling this is all, to be blunt about it, overstated for the time being. 2729228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Andy up here in Auburn. How are you?
Hey, Randy.
How you doing, man?
Andy.
Andy. Hey, good to hear from you again.
Not so country. Hey. Told you I'm a fan. I was listening to y'all through my Alexa, so I don't know how far behind, or maybe I'm in the future from you. But the caller that was talking about the service, was that just recent?
Yes, sir.
It is.
Okay, I'm caught up. Well, I was a middle school teacher, and I taught at a junior college up here, and it's crazy where I saw this wave coming, where I'd hear like the 3rd grade teachers saying, I can't believe how much we lowered the standards, da-da-da-da-da. These kids are not, we're passing these kids that don't know how to read and stuff. And then they'd come to me, and I was a captain in the Army. I live by honor and ethics, and I was forced to give grades. If we caught kids cheating, we had to give them 50s because a 0. It was taught to me that a 0 would ruin their chance of even wanting to try. And I mean, I get that, but oh well.
I think their chances of wanting to try were already ruined if they cheated.
Well, I know, I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
Again, they did not want someone like me teaching. They, used to hear about commercials on radio stations. If you're prior service, go teach. You don't hear that anymore because they don't. Things are changing now, I think, with Trump, but this was before I knew the country was split. I didn't know why there's teachers that hated me. I'm like, I get here before you. I coach. I stay after you. Like, I am working so hard. I don't even know you, but I hear you hate me, and I put it together now.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I saw this wave of every year the kids got, I don't want to say dumber, but lazier. I was very disciplined in my class. Teachers would get angry because of how loud I talked. They're like, Captain P's screaming again. And I'm like, I'm not screaming. I'm talking loud enough they'll remember it a year or 2 from now, and the kids love it. And I get that military, throat speak going on. What did you do? And I mean, the kids loved it. The kids loved when I disciplined. I'd pull the bully up and do the whole, spell silk, say silk, what do cows drink, milk. I'm like, no, go, everyone laugh at them. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but the kids loved it. And the bullies stopped being bullies in my class. I go to prison, so I treat it like prison. I'd find the biggest, meanest kid. I'm like, I need you to be leader in my class, and I know it's like an army, because I used to be such a slow damn runner, but when you're put in front of your platoon, you're not stopping. And when you give someone that's got discipline problems, leadership skills, and treat them a little bit better, they succeed. And they start getting teachers they start kicking teachers out of the military that believed in God. And now you have, I'm not saying all teachers, but again, I was one. I saw this every day, where the teachers that stayed are the ones that like getting off at 3:00 and having a summer off. Yeah, I said it, and I mean it. And I'm not saying at all schools. I'm not saying at all teachers. Just like there's some bad priests, there's some good teachers.
Well, and I'm glad you said it. I really am.
It's the truth. Looks like we lost him.
Yeah, I think we did lose him, because I have wondered. I've said this before, I guess a few years back, but do teachers sit, especially like at Montgomery schools, like they sit at a faculty meeting and they look around. There you go. We're like the Avengers. We're all heroes in here.
No, I do not think.
Yeah, it's just any protected class. And sometimes when people get that way about, it's one thing to damn the police and all this sort of stuff, but when you're like, police never make mistakes at all, it's like, really? Well, you should talk to some fellow police officers about some of their colleagues. And the same goes for teachers. Teachers are heroes.
Sure.
They do God's work here and helping raise these young folks up. And it's like, okay, go actually talk to teachers and what certain teachers are like. What is it with this mentality of we can't touch
wrong.
a certain profession?
Yeah.
A certain profession could never do it because they mean well. And maybe that's something to the lower of expectations. Everybody means well. Or if you push them too hard, they're just going to give up and they'll be demoralized. I'm like, well, pulling down everybody's standards to your low nonsense, that's demoralizing.
Put it in the sports thing. If you're not good enough, you don't make the team, right? So some people go, you know what? I'm not good enough. I'll go do something else. Others double down and try to make the team. That's fine. But if we go, no, everybody needs to make the team. Guess what? Our team sucks. No one's getting any better.
Well, and I was the generation, I don't know, Craig, if you had this, did you get a trophy for every sport you played or any activity you did?
Well, the one time when I was in second grade and I played machine pitch baseball.
Oh, nice.
Then everyone got a trophy.
Yeah. And every year I played, we got trophies. And I think at a certain point, I just threw them out.
Sure.
Because who cares? We didn't win a championship.
We blew ours up with bottle rockets and stuff like that.
Great. It doesn't mean anything.
We didn't get trophies for everything. We got, if you weren't good, the best teams got trophies. I remember that. The better team, second place, you got ribbons.
Yeah.
Third place, you got nothing.
Ribbons.
Yeah.
At field day, we'd get ribbons. You get the big old blue ribbon because you were the fastest.
That's what we got. Ribbons. Yep. But again.
And generally, I find awards loathsome. I mean, there are moments, I guess, there are certain awards where it really is a nice sentiment and you are commemorating somebody. But, remember how we went to the whole Abby Awards thing?
I remember how fake that was, but it was fun.
Right. It's nobody in this room listens to our show. Who cares about any of this? I don't watch y'all's shows. This doesn't mean a thing to me.
Oh, come on. You were, if not acknowledged by your peers, you were at least acknowledged by the folks that put you up for the award.
No, yeah, thanks.
And after going to the
it
award,
goes much farther when Andy calls up 2 days in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm a big fan. Or Cameron calls in and says, I'm a big fan. Or so-and-so calls in and says, I'm Mr. Pink because your show reminds me of the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, just the chit-chat going on. That stuff means a heck of a lot more to me. People that actually listen, people that actually read my stuff.
Yeah.
And that's worth more than any this group of people that don't even know me go, well, that kid's all right.
I don't know. You ever got a fat bonus check, Joey? Those are pretty good too.
I'll take that. I'm not talking about that. That's not a trophy. That's money. I'll take the money. That if you really want to show your appreciation, give me money.
Just say it. That's pretty good there.
272-9228. Let's go to line one again.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, Wesley.
Wesley?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Wesley, you're on there.
I hate to say this, but it's Friday. I just couldn't resist.
Come on.
This conversation was spoken like a great Auburn fan.
Yeah.
Who needs that natty?
Well, once you get one, I mean, you know, one is fine.
The
One and a
year-
half.
hey,
One and
the-
a half is fine.
The year I was there is when we won with Cam Newton. All right.
I couldn't resist, Joey. That ball up so big.
That's why we got the best listeners.
Oh no! Don't make me go there though, because you got some Bammers out there that never even went to the school, and they're like, "Look at what we did.
Still
We did that year. Come on."
Do you live in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I know. I know. Fandom's a funny thing, man.
If you guys want to help me try a little bit, I just two kids. I graduated Alabama. Two kids. One just graduated Auburn. The other one's there. All my money is going to that school. I didn't used to, didn't like it.
Yeah, they really are. We got I think the best rivalry in the country.
Oh, no doubt.
Both great institutions, really.
No doubt. Well, Pearl's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all was a basketball school now. Forget about Kentucky. I mean, y'all are all about it now.
Yeah, but Bammers hate the fact that we are actually doing stuff. So they took one of our coaches, let him go to Senate. That was great. Probably going to be a governor. But I hear they're trying to take another one of our coaches, Bruce Pearl, and get him up into Senate. Why are Bammers so hating on Auburn? Because we're doing good at something.
Because the Aubs will fall for it.
Yes, every time.
And the agent's the one who floated that, correct? Pearl's agent?
I don't know who did. I just thought it was a hysterical story, but I hope that doesn't come to pass. But yeah.
Yeah. That's where it goes. All right, guys. I always enjoyed the show. Even you, Craig.
Thanks. I appreciate it being an afterthought. It's great.
Thanks, Wesley.
Thanks, Wesley.
Does Wesley know I just don't give a Frenchman's fornication about sports? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
No, you seem. What are you doing over there?
It's not involving myself in a conversation about which I know nothing. I
Fair
use
enough,
sports.
fair enough.
People think I talk too much. Like, why aren't you talking about this thing that you know nothing or care anything about?
Want to go fishing? You want to go fishing, Craig?
I will go fishing. No. See, you
You want to go camping out?
He misrepresents me, and I think he does it on purpose.
How so?
I like fishing. I enjoy fishing.
Okay.
It's never the first thing I want to do, and it's not a friggin' sport.
How's it not a sport?
We're not doing this again. Eddie.
Yeah, we
We're not
have
doing
done this
again.
before. Let's
We're
not.
not going to do this.
Let's
again.
not.
But golfing is a sport?
Say what now?
Golfing is a sport.
Are you competing with a prehistoric animal in golf? No. Then yes.
You're hitting a small white ball and trying
But
to
you're
put it in a small
competing
hole
against
that's way
other
over there.
people.
And fishing, I am too. The
No,
other guy in the boat.
It's an imaginary game between you and a guy who's half is off his rear end on Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That's part of the challenge.
Your direct competition. In golf, your direct competition is another golfer
Who's half ripped on Michelob.
In fishing, your direct competition
is
an
twofold.
animal that's so retarded it doesn't notice that there's a giant hook in his dinner. Therefore, you cannot consider trapping and confusing and bamboozling this mongoloid creature into getting into your boat. You cannot call that a sport.
If I'm good enough at hiding the hook from that fish.
You're not good. I don't act like we've seen it. It looks like, imagine you go to a diner and there's just a freaking giant hook through your steak. And you're just like, of comparative
I will say
size.
this.
Would you be an elusive creature to whoever trapped you using that
One
method?
time I ate some coleslaw that was spicy.
Mhm.
And I said, man, this is great coleslaw.
Right.
Turns out it was food poisoning in the coleslaw. So yeah, I fell for the big hook in the middle of the steak.
I'm not even going
No,
to.
seriously, if I was able to figure out how to put a hook in a candy bar, yeah, I could catch Eddie.
It's like remember when
What kind of candy bar was it?
Joey
Heck, you probably don't even need the hook.
Joey probably experienced this because we're closer in age than you or I, Eddie. But were there the rumors like around Halloween time that people would put like razor blades?
Oh yeah,
in
razor blades.
apples?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I fell for that the first time,
Yeah.
and then I caught my parents, just basically taking my candy. So after that point, we separated our candy before we got home. The good stuff that we were going to
Yeah.
keep, and the crap we're going to let our parents go through.
And that's
And if you gave us apples, because that was the thing, if somebody gives you an apple, it's got a razor blade in it. We threw it back at your house anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah, the apples, the candy, and no.
And the
No.
hard candy that wasn't wrapped, we just threw it back. At
Or
your
how about
house.
like the like I've baked you some scones sort of thing?
I don't think I ever had that.
What about the big peanuts? Like the marshmallow peanuts? Ew.
The orange ones?
Yeah.
Circus peanuts? I used to like them when I was a kid because I think we were really poor. And I thought they were good. But
right.
yeah,
You
later
think
on
you
in
were?
life, I had one. I went, oh, what is this?
Wait, you're just now figuring out from all the stories you told me. I think we were poor.
Looking back, there was some
throwing
signs.
dirt clods at cars and Chisholm.
That was just fun. That had nothing
Yeah.
to do with economics. That was just fun.
Man, those were the days we didn't care about the socioeconomic ladder or standing or status or whatever. It's just like,
Honestly, most of those times the kids I hung out with, we were most worried about getting our butts whooped by our daddies at the end of the day. Whatever we did, we knew, ooh, this is gonna hurt, but we did it anyway.
Yep. Hey, quick break here. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Invista Advisors. Austin Baranko, they're at Invista Advisors. Well, he and his team are looking to help y'all out. They have a great team they've put together, all sorts of different, specialties each team member possesses to help put together a long-term financial plan. But this team includes CPAs, business consultants, specialists, as well as investment advisors like Austin. And so it's not just about that stock portfolio. That's part of it, of course, but maybe you want to keep that wealth over time. You say you have a complicated estate. You want to make sure everything is ready to go. Put together, say, in terms of your will and bequeathing this to the next generation. Or it could be all your money tied up in your small business. Maybe you run a nonprofit, an endowment. Could be you need life insurance. They do it all. They do a customized plan to you to make sure you have a financial plan going forward. So y'all check them out today. You can always learn more at InvistaAdvisors.com or just call them straight at 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Let's go to TS. Say, TS, how you doing?
Hang on. I'm okay.
You sure?
I don't know where to begin. Wait a minute. Alexa, volume 1. I don't know where to begin. Because you guys just... Anyway. Okay.
Don't start.
The building.
The building?
Me?
The building?
The Radio Shack. Whatever y'all live in.
Okay.
I told Jay today, we were talking about when I dropped off the makeshift cutlery holder. They're getting it all together while I'm picking up my coupon things.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to get all this stuff done. And I'm like, Jay, they did all this remodeling. Why didn't they just... I said, look up there. The building is slanting. I'm not going to say what he said. But then I said, you know what? There's so many memories in here, nostalgia. I understand. Okay, that was one.
Okay.
Craig, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank
You're
you for
doing much
asking.
better now.
How are you?
I'm quite well, thank you. I forgot the second thing. Oh, wait, we were talking about. I give up. I've got teenagers coming to work in my yard for $12 an hour.
Ooh.
So I'm well, that's good. I mean, it's cash on the barrel.
Oh, no, put them to work.
Heck
That's
yeah.
all right. Yeah,
You don't know.
but make
They
sure
work-
they ain't
they work-
lollygagging up that rate.
Hey, no. We're on a text thread with both families, and I'm a certified educator, so it's fun, y'all. It's so much fun. And I forgot the other thing, so I'll say it for another time. Love you more.
Now, apparently the Elon Musk Trump news conference has begun finally, but Trump just turned a laptop around. It's like, hey, listen to this Rick and Billy segment from this morning on the economy. So every news network covering this is now getting the broadcast from CNBC this morning. As Elon standing next to him wearing the Gothic and Make America Great Again hat, the Doge Father shirt under the jacket. Oh, wow. Yeah, so actually I've got this live. We can check it out for a second.
Yeah. I see Howard and Scott are here, so it's great. You guys want to stand over here, you might as well. You're the ones that help produce those numbers, and it'll only get better. The tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with
I think Elon is related to Pamela. They have the same goth look.
Maybe. Without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled. We would really be imperiled. I think I can say that with
They both pull it off well.
and Howard. And so we were very happy to get that decision, that big decision yesterday. And today it's about a man named Elon, and he's one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. He stepped forward to put his very great talents into the service of our nation, and we appreciate it. And I just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program in generations. And you know the kinds of things that he's found and his people have found. He's brought a group of very smart people in, and they found things that are pretty unbelievable. I have to say that the numbers that we're talking about are substantial, but they're going to be very much more substantial with time, because many of the things that we're working on right now, we're going to have to remember Elon as we find them, but the numbers could double and triple because many things, we don't want to go out with them until we're sure, but we've found things that are unbelievably stupid and unbelievably bad. With the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon's delivered a colossal change in the old ways of doing business in Washington. Doge has installed geniuses with an engineering mindset and unbelievably talented people in computers. I actually asked Elon one time, what's their primary thing? And they have a lot of primary things, all having to do with being smart. But he said the thing that they're really the best at is working with computers, so that they can't be outsmarted by somebody that's not so honest, that happens to also be good with computers, but not as good as these people. But the mindset in the senior ranks of every federal department, and it's really changed. And with Elon's guidance, they're helping to detect fraud/waste and modernize broken and outdated systems. So as you know, we're talking about various systems and changing systems. And, you know, sadly, it takes a long time to do that. You'll change, let's say, a system at IRS and computerize it properly, where the job can be done in 1/10 the time, but it takes sometimes years to rebuild those systems. But we've started, in many cases, I will say that this has less to do with Elon, but the air traffic control systems, we're bidding out to the best companies in the world, those systems right now. They were what the previous administration was horrible what they did. They spent billions and billions of dollars.
Well,
and in the end,
I got to hit a top of the hour break, folks. We'll pick this back up on the other side. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The White House says Israel has accepted a new U.S. proposal for a temporary ceasefire. Hamas officials gave the Israeli-approved draft a cool response. but they said they wanted to study the proposal more closely before giving a formal answer. Faison Zaki has sealed the title of best speller in the English.
They turned on the system, and it in never any cases from local to countrywide, they never worked. More than 75,000 bureaucrats have voluntarily left their taxpayer-funded jobs to come out and really do the job. Countless wasteful and unnecessary contracts have been terminated, and you know that we have terminated many contracts, and many contracts, Elon, are right now being looked at, and it may be 6 months, it may be almost a year in some cases. We're going through procedures, we're going through courts, and we'll remember you as we announce billions of dollars of extra waste, fraud, and abuse. Just as an example, DOGE canceled $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, $101 million, and that was just a small section of the Department of Education. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City, and the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City, $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. In Burma, does anyone know about Burma? $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. I can say it's $2 billion to Stacey Abrams and her environmental movement. There was $100 in the account, and all of a sudden they found $2 billion in the account. And I assume that's being looked at. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental credit. $20 billion, not 20 million, a lot, not 200,000, which is a lot. So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about. Nobody's been able to find it. $8 million for making mice transgender. So they spent $8 million on making mice transgender. And those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that, but we have other things to do. So it's much more than just that. We're totally committed to making the DOGE cuts permanent and stopping much more of the waste in the months to come. We want to get our great, big, beautiful bill finished and done. After that, we put some of this into the bill, but most of it's going to come later. We're going to have it cauterized by Congress, affirmed by Congress. In some cases, we'll make cuts. In some cases, we'll just use it in a different layer to save the money. But it's hundreds of billions of dollars. DOGE has also fully modernized the federal retirement process and continues to work very hard on the IRS modernization. But we're taking that over with DOGE. Many of the DOGE people, Elon, are staying behind too, so they're not leaving. And Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling. It's his baby, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of things. But Elon's service to America has been without comparison in modern history. He's already running one of the most innovative car companies in the world. You look at his factories and compare them with some of the old factories we have, and it's a big difference. And the most successful space company, and I guess in history you would have to say the largest free speech platform on the internet, etc. Yet Elon willingly, with all of the success, he willingly accepted the outrageous abuse and slander and lies and attacks because he does love our country. I know that very much. He loves our country. He comes from another country, a country that's going through trials and tribulations, I would say. But he's all about the USA, and Americans owe him a great debt of gratitude. So I just want to thank Elon for his time as a special government employee. Can you imagine? They called him an
Welcome back. We're pretty much live on this press conference here. We'll go right back to it. And Trump essentially just laying out all the things that Doge has been able to do in the first few months. So let's just hop right back into it. This is again Donald John Trump with Elon Musk in the Oval Office. He said.
Then they said, wow, we can cut a lot more than that. And we're going to do it very surgically. We're going to continue on the march. We're making America great again. When I was in Saudi Arabia, and we were in, as you know, 3 really great countries, predominantly the 3. Qatar was great. UAE was great. Saudi Arabia, incredible. Such an incredible experience to be in those 3 countries. But the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and I must tell you, the great leaders of the other 2 that we just mentioned, they all said the same thing, that the United States is the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. And 6 months ago, we thought it was dead. It was like a dead country. And it would have been a dead country if we didn't have the right result on November 5th. It would have been a horrible, horrible situation was going on with the borders, with transgender for everyone, men playing in women's sports, and so much more. But they were saying the hottest country anywhere in the world. And then I played that little clip because that was one person who was respected, or 2 people, because Joe was in that one too. Joe's a good man. But that was one group of people saying something about the success of what we've done over the last 4 months. They cannot believe it. In the one case, they said they've never seen anything like it as long as they've been doing what they've been doing. They've been doing it for a long time. So I want to thank Elon for helping. And again, you know, the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's no country as hot, and we're doing really well. When I left, we had no wars, we had no problems. We defeated ISIS, we rebuilt our military, and we had no inflation. And when I came back, we had a lot of inflation. We had wars all over the place. We had the embarrassment in Afghanistan where we gave up billions and billions of dollars of military equipment, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, I believe. I believe that strongly. We have Russia with Ukraine. We had the attack in Israel in October, the horrible attack, October 7th. Horrible, horrible attack. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And now we have something where we're really healing a lot of that. We stopped India and Pakistan from fighting. I believe that could have turned out into a nuclear disaster. And I want to thank the leaders of India, the leaders of Pakistan, and I want to thank my people also. We talked trade. And we said we can't trade with people that are shooting at each other and potentially using nuclear weapons. And they're great leaders in those countries, and they understood, and they agreed. And that all stopped, and we're stopping others from fighting also, because ultimately we can fight better than anybody. We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest leaders in the world. We put one of them in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as you know, General Raisin Kane. And we wiped out ISIS, completely wiped out ISIS in 3 weeks. They said it would take 5 years, and we did it in 3 weeks. And that's the way it is, but we don't want to have to use our military. We want to be peace through strength when we can, and that's the way we're going to have it. So I just want to thank Elon and all of his people. Most of those people are staying, almost all of them are staying, and they're going to be with us. And you're going to see the results coming long into the future. Even a year and 2 years later, you're going to see a lot of the results, and those hundreds of billions of dollars are going to be adding up, and they're going to continue to add. It'll be interesting, really interesting to see what the final number is going to be. But again, Elon gave an incredible service. Nobody like him, and he had to go through the slings and the arrows, which is a shame because he's an incredible patriot. The good news is that 90% of the country knows that, and they appreciate it, and they really appreciate what he did. And I gave him a little special something we have here.
Thank you.
A very special that I give to very special people. I have given it to some, but it goes to very special people, and I thought I'd give it to Elon as a presentation from our country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
That's a big key.
I've seen a lot. The luck on this is amazing.
Large luck.
Well, let me say perhaps a few words that this is not the end of Doge, but really the beginning. My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing. It's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that, it comes with a time limit. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time. The Doge influence will only grow stronger. I liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government, and I'm confident that over time we will see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction. The calculations of the Doge team thus far, in terms of an FY25 to FY26 delta, are over 160 billion, and that's climbing. We expect that number will probably go over 200 billion soon. So I think the Doge team is doing an incredible job. They're going to continue doing an incredible job, and I'll continue to be visiting here and be a friend and advisor to the president. And I look forward to times being back in this amazing room. By the way, isn't this incredible? Look at this incredible. It's stunning. I think the way that the Oval Office, how the president has just completely redone the Oval Office. It's beautiful. I love the gold on the ceiling.
Thank you. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's been there a long time. That was plaster. Nobody ever really saw it. They didn't know the eagle was up there. And we highlighted. Essentially it's a landmark, a great landmark, and that's 24 karat
They're
gold.
looking up at the ceiling in the Oval
Now
Office.
they all see it when they come in. So it's been good.
The Oval Office finally has the majesty that it deserves, thanks to the president. So I look forward to continuing to be a friend and advisor to the president, continuing to support the Doge team, and we are relentlessly pursuing $8 trillion in waste and fraud reductions, which will benefit the American taxpayer. That's it, really. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job.
President Trump, the president mentioned
Oh,
you guys deal with all the slings
the questions
and arrows
begin.
during your time at Doge. There's this New York
Some of the
Times-
people, some of the media organizations in this room were the slingers.
Well, there is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line between.
It's the New York Times. Is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
Here, Elon. Yep.
I think it is. I think the judge just ruled against the New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize. That New York Times? Let's move on.
Okay.
Next question.
Here.
President Trump, 5 aides who used to work here are in talks with Republicans in Congress to go and testify about what they did or didn't do to possibly conceal President Biden's decline. Do you think that Dr. Jill Biden should also have to come in and testify about what she did or didn't do?
Well, I hate the concept of it. It's the wife of a man who was going through a lot of problems, and everybody that dealt with him understood that. And I guess it came out during the debate loud and clear. That was the biggest signal of all. They have to do what's right. The country was there was a lot of dishonesty in the election, as you know, of 2020. That's been now caught. People understand it was a rigged election. And when you go further out, when you see the auto pen, I think the auto pen is going to become one of the great scandals of all time, because you have somebody operating it or a number of people operating. Because I knew Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't in favor of opening up borders, letting 21 million people into this from prisons and mental institutions and gang members. He wasn't into that at all. And who signed these orders, proclamations, and all of the different things that he signed that set our country so far back? That was so bad for our country.
With the auto pen, how would it work? Like, we're in the Oval Office right now. If there was a group of rogue staffers that work for you.
Again, this is live out of the Oval Office. It's Trump and Elon. This Peter Ducey of Fox News asking the question about the auto pen.
Well, it's very hard because I'd read your newspapers or your media the next day and I'd say, well, I didn't approve that, and I would find it. I mean, they wouldn't get away with it for long because I'd say, I never signed that. Who the hell signed that? Auto pens, to me, are used to sign letters to people because we get, I think they said 20,000 letters a week, and you like to be able, when somebody takes the time to write a letter, it's nice to sort of write back. And auto pens are meant for that. Auto pens are not meant to sign major proclamations or tax cuts or borders, anything having to do with the border, which is so important. And if it happened on my watch, I would be able to see it because the next day or sooner I'd be reading about something that I knew nothing about and who the hell signed this. So I almost never use the auto pen. In fact, yesterday I was signing about 81, I think it was 81 proclamations and statements to people that I think should be signed by us. I think when you write letters to foreign dignitaries or presidents or prime ministers, you should be signing those letters, not done with auto pens. I understand he signed almost everything with an auto pen. It's a very dangerous thing. It really means you're not president. Whoever operated the auto pen, and we think we know who that is, and it was actually more than one person, but that's not what the presidency is all about. I hardly used to hear that.
Reinstate the tariffs on China. You said that they violated the agreement with the U.S.
Well, they did. They violated a big part of the agreement we made. You know, if you read that whole statement, I was very nice to them. I helped them because they were in trouble with the stoppage of a massive amount of business. But I'm sure that I'll speak to President Xi and hopefully we'll work that out. But yeah, it's a violation of the agreement. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you give us an update to the latest ceasefire agreement that Israel has agreed to, but Hamas still considering?
Well, they're very close to an agreement on Gaza, and we'll let you know about it during the day or maybe tomorrow, and we have a chance of that. And I think we have a chance of making a deal with Iran also. They don't want to be blown up. They would rather make a deal, and I think that could happen in the not-too-distant future. That would be a great thing if we could have a deal without bombs being dropped all over the Middle East. That would be a very good thing. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We want them to be safe. We want them to have a very, very successful nation. Let it be a great nation, but we can't have that. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. And I think we're fairly close to a deal with Iran.
Mr. Musk, a question for Elon.
Yeah, please.
You said just now that you look forward to being a friend and advisor to the president. So do you expect to continue advising the president and Doge informally, or are you going to sort of shift your focus entirely to your companies?
Well, I expect to continue to provide advice whenever the president would like advice.
I hope so.
I mean, I expect to remain a friend and an advisor, and certainly if there's anything the president wants me to do, I'm at the president's service.
Mr. Musk, on Doge, you said that there was $1 trillion promise for cuts from.
Yes, I think we do expect over time to achieve the $1 trillion.
But what have you found in your time here was the biggest roadblock to getting those cuts? Was it the cabinet, or was it Congress, or something else? What was the biggest roadblock from your work?
It's mostly just a lot of hard work. It's really not any one person or Congress. It's going through really millions of line items and saying just each one of them makes sense or does not make sense. Obviously, at times when you cut expenses, those who are receiving the money, whether they're receiving that money legitimately or not, they do complain. And you're not going to hear someone confessing that they received money inappropriately. Never. They're going to always say that they received money appropriately for an important cause. Naturally, that's what you'd expect. So we just have to. It's just a lot of work going through the vast expenses of the federal government.
Again, this is happening live in the Oval Office, Musk and Trump.
Are you sure it's actually being used well? Many times we can't even find anyone who defends it. So for a lot of the expenses, there's actually no defender at all. And then we have to just work through the process of stopping the spending, where there's often literally no defender. Nobody even knows why the money's being spent. It's truly absurd. I mean, we find situations where there are millions of software licenses with 0 people using them. Zero. Exactly. This is the quizzical expression. You're like, surely, if there's millions of software licenses, someone should be using them. No, and then we've got to go through the process of saying, okay, look, if no one's using the software, we need to terminate this software license agreement. That's everywhere in the government, by the way.
Mr. Musk, what do you think would be easier, colonizing Mars or making the government efficient?
It's a tough call, but I think colonizing Mars and making life multiplanetary is harder. And as I said, we do expect to achieve over time the $1 trillion of savings. We can't do it in like a few months, but if you say by I think the official end of DOGE, which the president may choose to extend, is the middle of next year. If you say by the middle of next year, with the support of the president and Congress, could we achieve $1 trillion of savings? I think so. We're on track to do so.
Do you have faith that Congress is going to
Go ahead.
Mr. President, you had mentioned earlier in the week that DOGE had become a whipping boy, and as the president mentioned, you went through a lot to go through this process.
Yeah.
Was it worth it for you, and what would you change?
Yes, so what we found was happening was that if there were any cuts anywhere, then people would assume that was done by DOGE. And so we became like essentially the DOGE boogeyman, where if any cut anywhere would be ascribed to DOGE. A friend of mine's daughter, who's at law school at Georgetown, thought that DOGE had cut the Senate, the internships the legal internships for the Senate, and we have nothing to do with that. So if they have been cut, it's not to do with us, just as an example. So, it just became a bit ridiculous where any cut anywhere was somehow DOGE, and including things that made no sense, and we would agree made no sense. There are many things that occur in the government because it's the banal evil of bureaucracy. It's sort of the frankly largely uncaring nature of bureaucracy. It's as the great Milton Friedman said, money is spent most poorly when it is someone else's money being spent on people you don't know, and that's how federal spending is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't really even blame the individuals because the way the government works is complaint minimization. So. When you do when someone within the government tries to stop that money being spent, there's usually someone that complains. And then their manager will say, it's not worth the trouble. Just pay it anyway. That happens over and over again.
So was it
I think it was an important thing. I think it was a necessary thing, and I think it will have a good effect in the future.
Thank you, President Trump. This week there was a video on board a plane that showed the First Lady of France slapping her husband, Emmanuel Macron.
Oh, no.
Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice?
Make sure the door remains closed.
Yes.
No, I spoke to him, and he's fine. They're fine. They're two really good people. I know them very well, and I don't know what that was all about, but I know them very well, and they're fine.
I got a little shiner here.
What do you think about the Democratic Party plan to avoid being swept in every battleground state again by spending $20 million to study how to speak to American men?
Well, they spent $2.8 billion. We spent 1.5. We spent much less. We spent about half of what they spent, and at the end they were $28 million short. They had to be. They spent $2.8 billion. It's a lot, but they couldn't get $28 million at the end, and now they want to spend. I read that they want to spend money to learn how to talk. That's fake. You don't want to be fake. You shouldn't have to hire consultants to say what America needs, because then the consultant should be running the deal, not them.
And coming up, we'll be getting into this consultant who's going to speak to young men on behalf of Democrats. She's what's the word? Fat.
And they want to spend money to find out what they did wrong.
With an F.
And I mean, I can tell you what they did wrong. I can tell you every one of their programs, when they say men playing in women's sports, I would say that's not a winner. When they say transgender for everybody, I think that's not a winner. When they say open borders so the entire world population of criminals can pour into our country, I don't think that's a winner. I mean, I just gave them that for free. but I don't know if they'll change their ways. I see them all the time. I see people that I know in Congress, Democrats, they're trying to justify some of the things I just said. You can't justify them. I always hear they're 80-20 issues. I say they're not 80-20, they're 97-3. They might be 99-1. They're not 80-20. They wish they were 80-20. And they're wasting a lot of money if they're going to continue with that nonsense.
And this Mr. President, on the big question, but back when you listened to The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then.
He's asking about Diddy?
Some very serious
Yeah, he did.
trouble.
Going to the freak off.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President, on the big beautiful bill, would you like to see the Senate build in some support for your tariffs on the big beautiful bill, or should that be a standalone bill?
I have great support on the tariffs. I mean, I was so honored that we got that ridiculous stay lifted, because that would have taken away presidential power. It would have taken away everything that was
I'm going to go ahead and pause it here because they're asking all sorts of stuff. But my main takeaway from this is Doge is going to continue.
Yeah. Just not as, probably not as hot of a fire as it was burning.
We'll see. We'll see. But I think, what, Craig, you were hoping, kind of like I'm hoping for a nasty Pope fight with Trump. You kind of wanted an ugly breakup?
Yeah, I wanted something to be clear.
No, because Elon said, no, I'll still, whatever he wants me to do something, I'll be picking up the phone. I consider him a friend.
Where's Big Balls going? Is he still here?
He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, Antonio Gracia is still working on stuff. Yeah, no, there are a lot of people still doing a lot of work on this, and they just announced another $10 billion cut from the Pentagon they don't need Congress to get rid of, and it's a lot of these consulting contracts. So the work does continue. Elon saying, if you're just tuning in, this was a live press conference out of the Oval Office, kind of a farewell send-off to Elon. Elon saying, no, we expect by, say, it might be extended, but by July of next year, we could easily get to that $1 trillion number. It just takes a lot of work, to his point. And I really do. I think he's being diplomatic. Yes. I think in particular with defense and intelligence and certain other areas, there are some very clear blocks put in his way.
Getting a little too close to it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're definitely barricading certain things. And that's the one thing to me is the most disappointing. I remember when they're like, oh, the Pentagon's next, and they reined that in. Again, they've cut some from the Pentagon, but I think hundreds of billions are there, not tens of billions. Yeah, so we'll see. We will certainly see. And like I promised, coming up, the Democrats have found themselves a point person.
She's not really pointy. She's more round.
Yeah, rounded off.
Yeah.
Lots
of curves.
But she's her name is Olivia Juliana. Olivia Juliana. And before we get to the clip of her kind of bragging about how she gets men, she likes frat boys. She knows how to talk to them.
I got a feeling she don't.
Here's the clip that was from the Democrats' convention. Let's pull it up on screen. That's her. That's Olivia Juliana.
Remember that short comedian back in the day, Macazales, whatever his little short, he was really looked like a little kid, but he was a comedian.
Yeah.
That's who she looks like. Not Zach Macalalis, but he was a little kid.
Andy Milonakis.
That's the one.
Yeah. She does look like Andy Milonakis.
That's
all grown up.
That's it.
So how would you describe her other than Andy Milonakis? You're talking glasses. What weight class we thinking here?
Yeah.
Solo.
Got a few chins in there. But she doesn't look.
Her chin starts at her fupa.
Yeah, she doesn't look like someone you could talk to. I gotta be honest.
Well, unless you speak whale, like Dory.
Here is what they had her say. Thank you for that description. Here's what they had her say at the Democratic National Convention this past year.
Nom, 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 nom.
No, it's not. That was after.
As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
I don't know if she should have said that.
She's on the menu for Switzerland.
Man, wow. So this is the person they think that's going to help them get the frat guys?
Yeah, this one.
As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
That's because she's used to eating her food before it gets to the table. She thinks that they're mutually exclusive, having food and it being on the table. She eats it between the server, like in the hand, from the platter to the table. It's gone. It's gone.
It doesn't get to the. We don't even need a table.
Well, table.
I mean, who tells them that
this is
the table doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. The table was eaten.
Yeah, she's gotten so good at eating that she can bend the very fabric of reality. Yeah, she's Neo.
No,
she's the chosen one.
She's the table of Theseus.
We're going to learn more about her after this break. Y'all stay tuned.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Here at Adams Drugs, we let our customers do the talking. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who was a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, what did you do for another pharmacy when you moved out of town?
When we moved to Fairhope, we were looking for a local. We did not want to go to a big box store. And we did find one, but the service was not up to par. Adams Drug really spoiled us.
What was it like to come back to Adams Drugs again?
It was very easy. We picked up the phone when we got back, came up to Prattville and called the branch there in Prattville, and they took that phone call and did the rest of it. We didn't have to do a thing. It was very simple. We're glad to be back with them. They're so efficient and customer service oriented.
Come in to any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a frontal system swinging through the state today with showers and thunderstorms out ahead of it for at least part of the day. I think later in the afternoon, the storms move out with today's high in the lower 80s. Then we'll look for some clearing this evening and tonight and cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 59. For the weekend, look for less humid air, comfortable days, cooler nights, plenty of sunshine. Low 80s for a high on Saturday and mid 80s on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Peaches and Clean, Powerful Carpet Cleaning. Do you have commercial property, offices, or rental units? Give us a call at Peaches and Clean. We can clean and restore your carpeting and bring them back to life. Give us a call at Peaches and Clean or peachesandclean.com.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program, before I forget, brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. Could be you're just looking for that basic pest control protection. Well, they'll get you on a monthly plan and get you on a regular schedule. So they're making sure your home is always jam up and jelly tight, as the song says, in terms of those little critters getting inside. And say, you find something you didn't expect, like you hadn't been to the back shed in a while, and all of a sudden you run across a wasp nest. You're like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm losing count of how many wasps. I don't think I can handle this. Well, Pest Pro can handle it.
That's right.
Of course, they also do year-round termite protection, and they'll do that yearly inspection. If you have not done that, you're a fool. Like, you have to get that done.
Why not?
And you might be like, well, what about money? I'm like, well, what about the money if you don't inspect your property? Those termites start eating through your property.
Right through your investment.
Yeah, it's going to be much more expensive if you don't get on top of it. And, of course, they can also help you there at Pest Pro Services with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
'Tis the season to
Right
treat
now,
your
big
yard.
time. Yeah.
Instead of spraying yourself or using those candles that don't work, why not have your yard treated directly? And it works.
It works very well.
And it's not like they just show up once. You got to remember to call them and hassle them. No, they get you on a regular schedule. They're there about 8 times a year.
Super convenient.
To make sure those mosquitoes don't bother you when you're actually trying to enjoy the backyard or the front porch. So y'all check them out today. You can always go to ppsriverregion.com to learn more, or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. They have a very active Facebook page and always giving back to the community. A lot of great events there. Check it out there. Or call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, and you can throw in Craig too, just don't do it as an afterthought.
Right.
Be sure to tell them that we sent you. Now, are we ready to learn more about Olivia Juliana's strategy when it comes to, was that thunder or her walking towards the studio? I don't know.
Kind of ironic.
The quote apparently is, I love young men. I love frat guys. So let's listen in to the wisdom of the up-and-coming Democratic activist. God, look at that. Like, look at both of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't inspire confidence. Anyway,
neither party.
Let's listen into their yapping.
Well, I also think it's just so abundantly clear that the people who say these things don't actually spend time talking to young men.
And the people that say what young men have abandoned the left in droves, in particular men even younger than the three of us here in the studio, like those young men are completely lost to the Democrats.
Oh yeah,
that's not going to bring them back.
So, but she's like, but do you know young men? That's just not true.
You know this because we know each other in real life, but I spend a lot of time on college campuses,
Mhm.
and I spend a lot of time with young
men.
I love young men.
That doesn't sound
I love
healthy.
frat guys, and in that I realized.
Wait, why did he say it that way?
That doesn't sound healthy at all.
Like she likes to eat them?
That would be the nicer way that I heard it. Yeah. Because if you were to say, I love young women, that probably wouldn't go over well either.
Yeah, but it was done in this creepy, like, wait, is that?
I love boys.
Wait, is that you, Craig, or is that like somebody shuffling through a food box on their?
Craig sees her and he gets hungry.
No, that was my cord got tangled up in a bag.
Anyway, here we go.
Each other in real life, but I spend a lot of time on college campuses, and I spend
He
a lot of time
loves
with
young men.
Ew.
I love young men. I love frat guys, and in that I realized like even the ones that identify as conservative are almost always pro-choice. They're almost always pro-gay marriage. You'd be surprised at the number of them who supported Black Lives Matter. And so I feel like people just kind of lump them into this box.
Hey, woman, have you ever thought that's just the stupid stuff young guys say so you don't bother them?
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you? Do you support Black Lives Matter? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sure, man.
Pass me that Coors Light.
Hey, gays want to get married? Doesn't bother me.
I love the fruits.
Pro-choice? I don't want to get that one sorority. Anyway.
When the truth is,
Yeah.
again, a lot of them are with us on the issues.
Yeah.
They're just not part of our coalition because they feel like they're not welcomed in it. Well,
I gotta think she's wrong. Big time.
Yeah?
Big
of course
time.
she's wrong.
Yeah, just big time.
Yeah, they're having a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble.
I mean, I love watching the struggle and they go, oh, we found our answer. And then they put things like this up. But
Right. And when you look at the MAGA coalition, it really is this broad swath of culture, like many different cultures competing, right? Like you see the fight between the libertarians and the more traditional conservatives, and then I hate even using the term the woke right or whatever. That's I think they're putting way too many different people into that one camp.
Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense, but at least the arguments are there. Like when Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool can share a stage and they really do disagree.
Yeah, they disagree.
Like when Glenn Greenwald is still being accepted by MAGA after he was trending today.
He's had a rough day, hasn't he?
Dude, okay, folks. I'm looking through X this morning. Glenn Greenwald, good reporter.
Great reporter.
Bold, courageous reporter. He did the Snowden stuff. Like he does not pull punches on especially covering wars, in particular what's happening with Israel and Gaza. And so I click on it like Glenn Greenwald's trending. And the first thing I see is a photo of him on his knees in like some scantily clad maid outfit. And I'm like, that is not. No, I don't want to. Apparently somebody released some intimate video where he was demeaning himself because he likes it. I mean, but part of me is also like, what, you're telling me Glenn Greenwald's gay? Who would have thunk it? Like, come on, man.
And the man's only in Brazil because he couldn't get his gay lover a visa to get back, and then he ended up dying, so he's kind of just over there.
And it's like all known. Like this is well-known, publicly available information.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty skeezy.
He's a gay man living in Brazil. I didn't think he spent his Saturdays going to temple.
No, I don't think so either. And so it's like, who's putting that out there online?
I'm sure they threatened him first.
Come on, why are you filming anything? Come on.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Most people, the vast majority of people.
That's y'all's generation.
Don't be filming it.
Yeah,
Actually, he's your age. I'm pretty sure he's like what?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Right.
Actually, he's in his 50s.
But he's kind of like, hey, this is a little embarrassing, but I'm very open about who I am. Everything is consensual. We're adults. And so you're like, yeah, he is having a bit of a rough day. That's pretty nasty to throw it out there, but it's obviously a retaliation to all of his reporting.
Yeah, obviously so.
But
I
I
just
kind
didn't
of
want to be reminded that he was a fruit today.
thank God the video's not circulating too much. It's just this one
Yeah,
screenshot.
which is one of the. I don't know if that's an algorithmic thing that they've gotten figured out, but
Yeah.
like when the whole Nick Fuentes and Destiny video made its round
good
several weeks ago, it's like I don't want to see this. Why are you showing it to me 85 times?
But the point is, like, even conservative, like the fascist MAGA or whatever, I'm seeing person after person going, I love Glenn Greenwald. I don't care. Like, you might even see folks who go, this is very immoral and wrong, but it's like, obviously this is being done in retaliation. So we're not going to throw them under the bus just because y'all put out some Oppo research or some weird
and
stuff.
it's like it's so creepy to release. Like that is illegal, by the way. To release that
Yes.
is a crime.
Yes. Without somebody's consent? Yes, it very much is. And so I think MAGA has this energy where there is tension. There are divides within the MAGA movement. There's the tech bro types. There's your more populist, the original MAGA, Steve Bannon types. You've got the libertarians on board. You've got more of the new right on board. You've got a lot of different debates over foreign policy, over cultural issues, yada, yada, yada. And I think that is the sign of a healthy political movement, that everybody is in agreement of the Democrats and whatever the establishment is, not just Democrats, but like the establishment Republicans, they suck. We are not for them. We'll figure out our differences later, but for the time being, we just need to put those people out of power. And at least Trump was able, and to Trump's credit, he was able to bring together this coalition where you, as we played that Scott Adams video from last week, you kind of see what you want to see with Trump. And you paint onto him the vision that you hope for. And in many ways, he follows through. I don't know if you caught it, Craig. I watched it last night, and it was just moving to me because I was following the story since it started. Ross Ulbricht spoke at the Bitcoin conference.
Oh, he did. Good for him.
Yeah. And I mean, I was following that from, I remember when Silk Road got started, and because I got into the Bitcoin thing in 2013, it's like, oh, Bitcoin's being used on this digital market where you can buy and sell anything. And then he gets wrapped up into it, and they gave him double life in prison plus 40 years. So, you live and die twice.
Even though the FBI agents in his case were themselves convicted for planting evidence.
Yes.
Blackmail, extortion.
Yes. Yes.
And what people always like to say is that they accused him of murder for hire,
Yeah.
even though the people that wanted to see him gone didn't charge him with that, didn't get a conviction for that. And the guy that he was accused of hiring someone to kill said he didn't believe it.
Right.
It's like, hey, so and so Ross hired this guy to kill you. I don't believe you.
No, and the thing is, Ross was a brilliant nerd who's like, I believe in libertarianism. I believe in anarcho-capitalism. I believe in Bitcoin. Let's stand this up. And because he made that site, it was like a science experiment. It was a technological test. They made an example of him. Again, double life plus 40 years. Trump, I bring this up because over the years, a lot of people have been trying to get Ross freed.
Yeah.
His mother in particular, great advocate for her son.
10 years she's been at it.
Wow. Yeah. I know a lot of libertarians that have been doing a lot of that, and no fruits. I mean, he thought he's going to be there for the rest of his life. He goes into prison when he's 30, 31 years old. So he spends about a decade there. He's now in his early 40s. And it's Trump who promised on the campaign trail, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht. He said that at the Libertarian Convention. He said that at the Bitcoin conference last year. And Trump didn't wait till the end of the term, and he did it very quickly.
Guys, is Twitter working for you? Is X working for you?
I don't know. Seems to be.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Oh,
sorry. Okay, I'm just making sure that something calamitous wasn't happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, let's hope not. Let's hope not. But it's that sort of follow through. Like, that's not a huge issue. The commutation pardoning Ross Ulbricht is not a huge across the population issue, but to a certain hardcore group that's been trying to get this done for a while, Trump goes, you know what? You're right. And I would appreciate your support. And it's this sort of coalition building that I think is, well, going to prove successful going forward. Now, you still need that person who can build that coalition. Will J.D. Vance be able to pull that off? Marco Rubio, somebody we don't necessarily even know down the road? Who knows? But right now, the energy is on the right, broadly, defined. And if you're worried about young men, like, just asking the question is the problem. If you want to understand young men, just go watch the stuff they watch. Listen to the conversations. They're publicly available and all over the place.
Right.
And what you're going to find is that they're just, people don't just agree with the left and the Democrats on a very deep fundamental basis at this point. Like, we've run your all's programs. We don't think it works. And yes, we don't think a little bit of a makeover in terms of PR or propaganda is going to make us feel any more welcome. Because that's the real issue for Democrats. The one most loyal group is this cohort of young women. And, you know, I don't know if y'all have heard this, like, with friends in y'all's life. Heard the anecdotes of, like, so-and-so got married 10 years ago. Then Trump happens. And that woman they got married to, who they were dating for several years, she just changes. And now she's left me. Or, like, she's filed for divorce. These sorts of things. And you hear those, again, it's anecdotal, but if you look at the hardcore stats, I think the vast majority of divorces are initiated by women.
Yeah.
Like 70% or something like that. And so it's like, one thing to be somebody like me, who's never been married, never even been close to being married. But I can't imagine a guy my age that you get married, you spend 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden the woman you're married to becomes a completely different person. And you try, but it's often over the politics. Now, I'm not saying that men are blameless. Obviously, things break down over time, and you should be watching that. But it's sad, and I think that is driving at a deeper level a lot of this cultural divide of men and women in politics. So we'll see. I mean, you're over there kind of wincing when I'm talking about this, Craig.
No, I'm wincing for a completely different reason. I have an injury.
You have an injury?
Yeah, and I keep messing with it, and then I wince. I didn't realize I was wincing. But
you were wincing. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Know, like, sometimes I do that. I just wince. Just like my wife tells me, sometimes I just go like that for no good reason.
Yeah,
I was don't know why.
Wondering why you were in pain over
I think
there.
I have like Tourette's or something.
Anyway, this part of the program, in fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams, Madeline Cannon, ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or refinance that home of yours. Say you're getting close to retirement or you're in retirement and you're realizing, man, I need to save some money monthly. This is eating through things a lot quicker than I thought. Well, if you have equity built up in your home, it's a perfect way. A refinance deal is a perfect way to get some of that overhead off your back that you can afford your bills, make that retirement, say, fund last a bit longer. And especially if you're a veteran, they are very proud to help veterans at Alabama Home Mortgage, whether with a home purchase or a refinance deal. So across the board, they're easy to work with. They're local, trusted, and hey, they're licensed in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida as well. So tell your friends. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. 567-4223 is that number if you want to get in touch. That's 567-4223, or you can apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Recently, I met with 3 different owners of homes who had the same problem. They wanted to sell their house quick and sell it as is for cash. All three people were approached by different investors that said they had cash for their home, signed contracts, only to find out they were not personally going to buy their homes, but to find a buyer willing to pay more than they offered and pocket the difference. It's called wholesaling. Offer a contract to buy a house at a certain price, up the price to other buyers, and pocket the difference. I urge you, don't fall for it. You want to sell your home quick, use a licensed professional realtor, as I have been for 48 years, keeping promises to get homes sold quick. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. I'm happy it's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. What's the score there today at Cohen's?
I feel like it's like 150 to nothing.
Daggone.
Eddie came to work today.
Yeah. But it's thundering out there right now, Michael, and that could be a great excuse to leave. I don't like thunder, Joey. I gotta
That's
go.
the reason he's not out at Lake Jordan.
Actually,
No, I thought it was
had
more
plans,
like,
but yeah.
I thought it was more like, are you a little girl? You're scared of thunder?
If whatever it takes, sometimes
You're
to
like
leave.
you're like a dog.
No, that's what I got to go home because my dog is afraid of the thunder. I can't let him be home alone. Nobody's buying that either.
No.
The things we have to put up with.
Yes.
So, sounds like a blowout there today.
Yeah, poor thing. So, yeah, it's been good here. Ed Michael Jackson had to run to Troy and do some outdoor speakers and a big, huge golden ear subwoofer for a customer. He rushed back in here and picked up a couple of televisions and some Sonos and headed to Prattville to hang a 65 and I think it's a 48-inch for this customer. So,
nice.
Yeah, he's been running and gunning, and life has been good. I mean, we're fortunate. We're thankful for what we do have, and it's just everything's been rocking and rolling, so it's all good.
Well, I love hearing that. And folks, you can always shop online, build some thirst there at thinkcohens.com, but nothing like actually stopping by, seeing these great products in person, and getting to know the great people there at Cohen's that really make the difference. You can always stop by at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael. Be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show, and that Eddie Bader guy was there as a special guest that day.
That way you'll know what day they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Vader, Darth Vader, I don't know. But we're just happy to have him with us.
That's it. Well, I appreciate that, Michael.
Well, you're welcome, sir.
You make me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Y'all are
So,
so full of it sometimes.
Y'all come see us and ask us some questions. Let us ask you some questions and let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are, whether they're appliances or electronics. And, we're going to match the big box stores with the prices.
Yep.
So you're not going to pay more, but you're going to get a better experience at Cohen's.
Every time.
Oh, I know it myself. I know it firsthand. So do a lot of my family members. I appreciate it, Michael. Hope you have a good weekend, man.
Y'all too. Stay dry.
See you, brother.
Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Ukraine presidential advisor says Ukraine is ready to resume direct peace talks with Russia in Istanbul on Monday, but insists that the Kremlin provide a promise memorandum setting out its position on ending the war. The foreign ministers of Ukraine and Turkey meeting in Kyiv also suggested the possibility of a future meeting between Presidents Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin, possibly also including President Trump. Puerto Rico's Governor Jennifer Gonzalez Colon has pledged to improve the island's crumbling electric grid and boost the economy in her first address after being elected, as anger intensifies over chronic power outages and an increase in cost of living expenses. Stocks are mixed. The Dow had 8 points, the Nasdaq losing 150. This is SRN News.
Mike Gallagher here, host of the Mike Gallagher Show. If you know me, you know I only put my name behind people and companies I trust. When it comes to mortgages, I trust Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans. They're not just friends. They've done loans for me, my family. I've seen firsthand how they treat every client like their family. And these days, that personal touch really matters. With the cost of everything up, you might be looking for ways to free up cash. Maybe you're thinking about a cash out refi or HELOC to finish some home projects, consolidate debt, or just get ahead financially. Fellowship is a full-service direct lender, not a broker. They cut out the middleman. That means faster decisions, fewer fees, and less stress. Whether you're buying your first home, downsizing, or refinancing to get some breathing room, they'll tailor fit the loan to your life. Get started at fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 81938.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a frontal system swinging through the state today with showers and thunderstorms out ahead of it for at least part of the day. But I think later in the afternoon, the storms move out with today's high in the lower 80s. Then we'll look for some clearing this evening and tonight and cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 59. For the weekend, look for less humid air, comfortable days, cooler nights, plenty of sunshine. Low 80s for a high on Saturday and mid 80s on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA, NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
ASE, an equal housing lender.
1819 News.
A judge has ruled against a contested election case out of Conecuh County. Retired Democrat Judge Braxton Cottrell has dismissed the case brought by Republican Sheriff candidate Mike Blackman against Democrat Sheriff candidate Randy Brock, who was declared the winner in the race by a 2-vote margin. Blackman argues that Brock was declared the winner after 2 absentee ballots that were improperly completed were added to the total that gave him the victory. This is the second time that Judge Cottrell has dismissed the case after it went back to trial in March of this year. Now Blackman's attorney, Brian Taylor, is planning to appeal the case to the Alabama Supreme Court. Taylor says that this harvesting and casting of absentee ballots has been done before and affected other elections. It's only now being caught within this sheriff's race, and he says election integrity must be upheld. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
2 Alabaster spas could soon lose their business licenses after a months-long investigation into illegal activity. 3 people were arrested on prostitution charges. 2 now face additional human trafficking charges. The Alabaster City Council will hold a public hearing on June 9th to consider revoking the licenses for Grace Spa as well as Lily Massage, the 2 companies that were part of this investigation. The Coastal Companies is recalling 17 products that are tied to potential salmonella contamination from cucumbers. Those items include fresh salsa, chicken, egg, and tuna salads. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, I'm Jerome Davidson, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Radio is the number one reach medium and is everywhere in cars, offices, homes, gyms, and stores. Radio advertising can efficiently get your message across to a large number of people. Radio ads engage with the audience in a personal and unique way. Blue Water is the most listened to group in Central Alabama. Put our stations to work for your business. Contact me, Jerome Davidson, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
In May, it's time to save at Pizza Perfect. Get $3 off any large pizza. Pizza Perfect is known for its buffet, which includes pizza, as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13. The buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. This month, get $3 off any large pizza at Pizza Perfect on Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook. Available for carryout and delivery.
Hey, y'all, Lewis at the Capitol Oyster Bar. We're located over here on the beautiful Alabama River. We got a fryer, a steamer, and a grill, and we cook up fresh seafood for you. We also got a killer hamburger and a great ribeye, some chicken wings. We got all kind of good stuff. We got a steamer over here. We got the Royal Red Shrimp. The shrimp from Argentina tastes between a shrimp and a lobster and a crab's what they've been described. That's some good eating right there. Crawfish season's almost over. We're still getting some crawfish in, but it won't be long, so check it all out at CapitolOysterBar.com or our Facebook page. You'll see the upcoming shows also. Let's talk about Sunday afternoon. Man, this is 3 weeks in a row. We brought Montgomery some fine entertainment. This week from Chicago, Mississippi Heat's in town. All right, I'm telling you, good stuff, 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Don't forget, you can rent you a pontoon boat down here. All you need is a driver's license, a credit card. We'll hook you up. And got a couple of spots open in the RV park if you want to come down here and spend the weekend with us. So y'all don't forget, 4 o'clock showtime. We'll see you soon, and stay cool.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation.
I think it's the first time I've ever seen Craig wear a normal shirt in here. Like with no.
What do you mean a normal shirt?
Like no muscle showing.
I've been wearing normal people clothes for like the past several weeks because with session over, my gym schedule's completely changed, so I don't have to go straight to the gym after this.
It's the first time I've noticed. So you look good in normal clothes, but you look good in the wrestler wear too. But
thank you.
Go on.
Leotards.
Is that all you got to say? Keep telling them.
No,
keep calling me. Keep.
It feels like
you have more you want to say.
Craig's a good-looking guy. I'm not afraid to call him out on that.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden you got all cagey.
I mean, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. He's a married man.
Richard, don't be afraid of your feelings.
Let's go to Cameron. Hey, Cameron, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, sir.
What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to make a comment. Earlier, you were talking about marriage.
Yeah.
And I just want, Memorial Day is fresh on our memory. I just want people to really spend some time thinking about the families that raised the boys and men that went to Iwo Jima and D-Day and did the Italian campaign against Germany's best. You know, our country has a heritage of families that were tight-knit and well-lived and provided the men that gave their lives for us, you know?
Hear, hear.
Well, and then my last little note here, and I'm not trying to get on her good side, but my wife said I do 40 years ago.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good for you, dude.
Congratulations.
The only reason I wanted to say that is I believe that authorizes me to say it's just like politics. You get what you choose.
There you go.
And she and I are both focused on childhood development, and we've been able to live our life with that commonality. And there you go. You get what you choose.
There you go.
I disagree. You get what you're able to beat out of them.
Oh, my God.
Love you, sweetheart. If you're listening.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you, Cameron. Have a good one, man.
Let's go to line
But
one.
you won't overcook those lasagna noodles again.
No, you won't.
Well, they just disintegrate.
Just
You need al dente.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
Agreed.
yeah.
Anyway.
You want to know what else is soft to your head, broad?
Oh, my God.
Pow! Boy, we couldn't go to family functions for 2 weeks.
Anyway,
after that.
who's this on line one?
Good afternoon, you beautiful
Oh,
people.
God.
Hey, Babs, how you doing, honey?
I'm not being handsome, but you are beautiful people, and I love you.
Well, thank you.
You know I listen to the show all the time. And but I've been wanting to call in, and I kept saying I wasn't, and I thought, well, Greg is here. I'm going to call in because he probably won't agree with me. Eddie will, and I'm not sure about you, Joey. But we have a president that was elected by a majority of the people in this country and by the electoral vote.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the Republicans in both the House and the Senate should go along with whatever bills he wants passed. He has been proven to do what he said he was going to do, and it's working out. And those stupid 4 Republicans, is it Rand Paul?
Mm-hmm.
What in the world are they thinking? Who are they trying to show out to? Greg, am I mistaken in you got to spend some money before you can make some?
Yeah, but I think we spent $7 trillion more than we.
I agree.
Than we had.
Yeah, and also, Babs, I would say that Rand Paul can be a gadfly, but he's always been that way.
Yeah, nothing new there.
I know.
Thomas
yeah.
Massey, too.
Another one, nothing new.
But I just, it's like I said, you know, he was, well, not unanimously, but, you know, to me, he can't do anything wrong. But, you know, I'm kind of like that.
Would you give me 5 minutes to change your mind?
Do what?
I said, would you give me 5 minutes to change your mind?
You can try for 50, and I don't think it would change my mind.
Well, at least you're honest.
Hey, Greg, I'm an Auburn fan. Have been one since 1965. So.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
I mean, so not taking in facts whenever you're accounting for your vociferous support for something doesn't come in.
Blind faith.
Hey, you know what? I can't really get mad at that.
I have to argue with my son on some of these points too, but you know, hey, I'm an old woman. It sticks in my mind, and it's hard to change.
You ain't gonna change that mind, yeah.
Well, you got a son to argue
right,
with,
Ed?
so that means you couldn't have done too bad.
Yeah, that's true. Very true, Craig.
No, I did really good. Yeah, he's the best. I love you guys. Thanks
Love you,
so
Babs.
much.
See you, Babs.
Love you, Babs.
Let's go to line 3. You're on the air. Who's this?
Well, Joey, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you, James?
You know, I missed 100% of everything that precipitated that conversation.
What were you doing?
I was actually putting up my groceries.
What'd you get?
What did I get?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't mind if I throw in a free advertisement for Bates House of Turkey, do you?
That's fine.
I just kind of slipped that in there, Joey. No, I went by and got one of those turkey breasts, actually 2 of them, sliced sandwich thin for some sandwiches like next week.
Nice. Put some mayo on those sandwiches?
Mustard on turkey.
Mustard.
Mustard.
And that could explain why there's no fat in my hands, because I've cut down on the mayonnaise, but that's another topic.
I'm still working on it. Anyway,
Here's the reason I called. Earlier, you were throwing out politics as the reason men and women get divorced.
That's one of them.
Okay, all right. Well, and that's the reason I was headed. I'm sure you mentioned some other things that I missed prior to the tail end of that conversation that I caught. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at it like this. I'm thinking in terms of money is the primary reason most couples that are married are divorced. And see, I would say it like this. If I had been a millionaire when we got divorced, I never would have got divorced because she would have hung in there. You see where I'm going with that?
Not if she's got a lawyer that can say, I can take half that million and make it yours.
Oh, no, not if I made the million before she came along.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, no.
And then...
Sometimes love is retroactive.
Don't believe. But see, it's like this right here. If I had been a millionaire before we got married, I never would have married her because I would have went for younger. You guys have a nice day.
Thank you, James.
Younger's not always better.
No.
Yeah.
You ever tried to have a conversation with a young woman? It's like talking to a bucket of shrimp.
Yep.
It's like
very good point.
Like I have a teenage sister, and she's incredibly smart. She's actually about to go off to college, but like I'll just see the interaction she has with her friends, and it was like, what did I see in you people when I was your age? Because just so mind-numbingly stupid.
Opportunity.
Now it's like, I mean, I married the perfect woman for me. She wants to do what I want to do: sit at home, raise chickens, raise babies,
and you can make like honeymooners jokes to the moon.
Oh man, one day I'm just gonna do a whole show about how great my marriage is, because I seriously love it. Like I'll turn down poker game, and I love playing Texas Hold'em. I regularly turn down poker games to do stuff with my wife. Like I really just like being around her.
But the sense I get is it's not like the guy who's like, I can't do it because my wife's fully scheduled me out. Like the wife becomes the excuse for everything.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of.
But that's it. Just
I know, like that, and maybe I'm not seeing the whole like. Well, Joey, if I do the other way, it's not very peaceful. I get it.
No, well, see, that's what I never understood about those guys. And like, listen, you're miserable anyway. At least you'll be able to look yourself in the mirror if you just go full Kim Jong-un. Just be like, this is what we're doing. Oh, great. Well, you're gonna sleep on the couch. No, I'm not. What are you gonna do? Move me over there?
Yeah, I used to go fishing with a guy. We ended up quit fishing together because we'd be fishing. And when we would go, we like to go all day. Well, 2 hours in, his wife would call, and at the end of the next 10 minutes, we were leaving.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. And she would, make him feel like crap, keep calling him. He's going to have a miserable day. It's like, why do you do this? Why? They have things in place now where you don't have to put up with this anymore. You can go to counseling. If that doesn't work, I know a couple good lawyers. They're still married today.
Well, it's like
I don't like to be around them.
That's even I've actually seen this. I don't even think you need to go that route. Go the route here. This is really going to get me in trouble. All right, women don't want what they say that they want.
Of course.
So when you're like really soft-spoken and very kind of timid and very understanding, and you let her craziness sort of run the relationship, not only does she never ever get the craziness under any sort of control, she resents you for not helping make her less crazy, and then she treats you like even more garbage, and round and round and round we go. As soon as that guy comes home, and it's rough, the candy shop might not be open for you, but you know what? You'll be okay. You'll live. When you went 18 plus 16, 17 years without getting in it, you can go a few more.
Yeah.
Go home and tell her, woman, shush. I'm serious. Just right there. Hey, shush. I don't have time for your crazy right now. Tell your story walking. Obviously, you don't need to do that every day, but like if you need to correct a situation, pull that number. She will be so shocked and so attracted to you. It'll happen. It'll happen if just first. She'll resist, but you have to keep going.
If it doesn't happen for you, call Monday. Joey will be here. I'm not coming in with this, but you call Joey up and you let him know how your weekend went after you got home and told your woman to shush, shush, shush.
Woman, shut
it. It's a test.
Then tell her make a pie, bro, and kick something at her.
No, one of my favorites. It's actually, I think, from ever seen the show? It's the first Aaron Sorkin show, Sports Night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, and somehow I got into it when I was like a teenager. My uncle liked it or something. But there's one, William H. Macy plays a character, a consultant who comes in.
Yep.
And he's like looking, it's like you're explaining something to me, and he's looking him like dead in the eye. And then he goes, That's great. Just don't be under the impression just because I'm looking at you, I'm listening to a word you have to say.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Because
it's true. Like, there's definitely moments like that.
Yeah.
No, and I don't know. I think people have good relationships. It's a deeper thing. And sometimes it's not even stuff you can put into words. Obviously, it's a values thing too. It just kind of works out. Catholic, Jewish, whatever faith. Yeah. If you are dedicated to one another on the same values, especially values that go to God, you tend not to have the same issues. Right. Not to say divorce don't happen in the church, they do. But it's a lot better than the sort of, we like hanging out and like the same shows.
It's really, like, it's kind of very simple. Like, I have no explanation for it. Yeah. Like, because the thing is, we don't necessarily like the same shows, but we like watching shows that the other person likes that we hate because there's like a mutual enjoyment there.
Yep. Yes.
Because then you get to pick apart the thing that they love so much. And it's fantastic. It just works. I don't know why it works, but it just works so good. And I do feel quite bad when I look at people like Eddie's talking about, when you just see where they just stuff their face with beer and cheeseburgers, praying for death to come upon them.
There used to be this one guy at Hyundai. He wore his earpiece so he could talk to his wife literally the whole night.
What?
So Hyundai got to, people eventually said, look, dude, you can't talk to your wife like this. Or communicate. No one cares if his wife. You just can't be on the phone. So it would be every break, call his wife. It'd be 2:30 in the morning. He's on the phone with his wife.
Why?
Lunch. And then this was the craziest. She picked him up in the mornings. He would clock out, have her on the headpiece, walking out to the car where she's at, waiting on him, but talking to her the whole way.
There's no way she was into that.
I would say no. In fact, we used to have a whole nother theory. It's a way that she keeps him in jail. She knows where he's at all times, so she can do what she wants. And I don't know if that's the case, but that's just the theory we come up with. Yeah. But there's a lot of men and women like that, man.
Well, there's more power to you. Like when I drove trucks, I mean, I would spend hours on the phone with my wife, and we would literally just be doing nothing.
Right. You're traveling. But I mean,
yeah. But like, if you like, I just dropped you off, and I'm calling on the phone. Again, I'm not going to judge you, but that seems like I'm judging.
I judged for several years about that.
Hey man, that's
I just never could understand, and I love my wife. However, I will say it is probably to my benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Shift work. She didn't have to deal with me half as much as she does now.
Well, now working from home mostly, it's like you kind of. It's definitely an adjustment because I got the kids coming in, and in fact, there's so many arguments in the beginning because I'd be like focused and she'd like pop in, hey, can you do that? And like, listen,
I'm working.
Yeah. It's like, listen, you think you're interrupting me for 5 minutes.
Yep.
It takes me 15 minutes to get refocused, 15 minutes to think about getting refocused, and then just the 5+ minutes that it took me to do this task that you want. I just wasted half an hour.
Yep.
So
easily.
Easily. And I have to procrastinate before I start any new task. So you're just really eating into everything.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Sometimes I do go through the spouts of like, I feel lonely, and wouldn't it be great to have, my soulmate and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, am I really the interesting one? Like, hey, did you hear the latest on this podcast, man? And then sometimes though, I hear somebody like going, hey, listen to what me and the missus did the other day. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with the podcast. Because I have peace and quiet. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Maybe I'll get a dog or a cat or something.
You should get a dog.
Oh, my grandfather keeps saying, don't get one that sheds. And I'm like, the best ones shed.
Oh, you should get the bald cat. I saw a video of them.
I don't like those things.
They take baths.
I don't like those
they'll
things,
get in the
man.
bath with
like
you.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yes. They're so ugly, but I want someone else to have one. I don't want one.
Anyway, let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, why don't we have a suggestion of 3 minutes? Listen, I've been married 60 years, and I don't know anything to tell you about marriage, so I'll make that. I'll not go to that subject, but
just get through it. I think is the message.
A more interesting subject to me is Fox Wednesday evening was talking about they bombed a mega church in China.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they were Antifa was attacking a Christian assembly in Seattle, Washington, with the mayor's approval, and they were talking about all over the world, Christians are being attacked and killed in huge numbers. But, I thought about that. I said, that's bad news, but the good news is the church in Acts, the first church, grew in spite of persecution and being attacked and people being killed. And it grew, but it grew because they were close to each other and sharing what they had and supporting each other and loving each other and being a community. And it says, and they added daily to their membership. And if we as a church would show people we love them, care about them, weren't selfish, and gave and got to know people, the people would be flooding into the churches, because this is such an isolated, sad world, a hurting world, that, honestly, I don't feel like the church is reaching out very well to people. But anyway, that's my viewpoint.
Well, I appreciate it, Bob.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Bob.
sir. Yeah, I mean, you're always hearing about attacks. But to his point, the early church grows because of that persecution in many ways.
Big time.
And the martyrdom is a very real thing that inspires folks and continues to inspire folks through the centuries. And I'm sure it's in this part of the world, like when I hear about the Antifa thing there, I'm like, well, that's awful, but maybe I'm biased because I live in Alabama. I'm like, it seems like Christianity is pretty dominant here. And
yeah, it's Alabama.
At least nominally, I'll put it that way. You might be like, well, people say they're Christian and they're not really living up to it. Whatever. That's a different type of problem. But no, like, good luck being outspoken against, say, Christianity in Alabama. So I don't maybe have the perspective of being in, say, Oregon or, the West Coast somewhere. Yeah. I'd imagine if you're in Los Angeles, the aptly named city of angels, you might have a little trouble if you're truly outspoken Christian believer.
Probably. Well, I mean, especially online, any of the outspoken people are going to get, the really popular people say nothing of substance and do nothing of substance, which is why they have huge following, because they require nothing and demand nothing. But yeah, the more conservative Christian commentators online end up getting pretty shredded. But yeah, but again, just like with most things, it's happening online. It's like the anti-Semitism. It's like, when's the last time you watched a group of Jewish people walking down the road and someone just starts sig heiling at them? It doesn't happen.
Right.
Same thing with this.
We
It's like
did have that shooting this past week, though.
What now?
We did have a shooting this past.
Oh, well, that has nothing to do with like them being Jewish. That has to do with us being Montgomery.
No. I'm talking about the at the
the Israeli embassy.
Yeah,
that was.
It's kind of a one-off, though. That's why
I would say that, but I would. My thing is, and you're right, I don't see it much in public, but I do hear more and more of the saber rattling, I guess you'd say, online of people of the anti-Semitism
is crazy right now.
Yeah, it's pretty. Online. But again, it is online. It's almost exclusively online, and that's kind of like one of the disciplines of navigating this modern age, is realizing, hey, if I didn't go online, would I have something to be mad about? So which is something that you don't need to say about, say, the violence or the crime in one city or whatever. But the point I'm making is this anti-Christian discrimination. I'm telling you, the biggest place you see it is from the federal government.
Yes, right now more than ever.
That's the biggest place you actually see it. But nobody sees someone walking down the street with like a crucifix on, and they just get like stuff thrown at them.
Right. Well, and then of course I always remember the street preachers that would go into the middle of stuff.
I still know a few of those.
There's a few. There used to be one here in Montgomery that we used to see on the regular, but I haven't seen him honestly in years.
White guy?
Yeah,
I probably know who you're talking about.
And I can't remember the guy's name, and I've told the story before. There's one guy who would show up on Auburn's campus, go to the quad, and I freaking loved it because I could argue with them without getting angry.
Yeah,
and would often ask questions where they just go, well, you kind of got a good point. Let's talk about it later. Whereas most of them would just get a rise out of people being like, you're all whores in these dens.
Those are the ones
and
I
so
remember.
you had all the different denominations also teaming up around, and that was just entertaining for me to kind of watch.
I like those like videos that you'll see on college campuses of like whether it's anti-abortion people or just anyone like that. They have those dialogues, those campus dialogues.
Yeah.
The clearest thing that it shows is, man, how poorly young kids are taught how to think before going to an institution of higher education. I mean, you're sort of anticipated to be stupid when you go to college. That's why you're called a sophomore. Sophos knowledge, mordanos moron. So you're a smart moron, and that's in your second year. So I really do like those videos because I think it's important, but I just wish there was still some sort of system of active debate in colleges that actually sharpened people's minds. And instead of it's been replaced by like this sort of
safe place.
Vapid. No, it's this vapid advocacy. Everyone's a part of some like LGBT. They're really rah about a bunch of causes they know nothing about because it's easy.
Right. And it's like there's not too much complexity going on there. It's more signaling I'm a good person.
No, because when they get called out on a question about it, most of the time they're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, as opposed to like if you watch videos of some old, like one of my favorite things was watching the debate between James Baldwin and
William F. Buckley
back in the day. And you're like, oh, this is happening at a university. People are showing up to see a debate between two powerhouses about a very important social topic. You could not get people to do that these days.
Not unless they're coming to protest. That'd be
exactly. Unless they're showing up to disrupt the thing and get kicked out.
Well, I mean, thank God you see more of that they still do the Cambridge Union, the Oxford Union. You see that in the old country.
Yeah, but then even that, you'll see George Galloway show up or whatever, and all that happens is he ends up getting lambasted by a bunch of crazy Zionists. Like, where's the, or is the same thing happened to Ben Shapiro, that worm? And it's just we've completely lost track of what it means to be educated in this nation.
Well, what are these little debates where it's people all in a circle?
Old JP didn't do himself any favors.
I watched that, and because I've watched way too much Jordan Peterson, and like in fact, I had a very popular piece for 1819 where I wrote about his refusal to just say yes or no on stuff.
Yeah, because you know his framework. Whereas if you don't, or if you're just coming at it from a regular sort of surface level understanding of what religion is or anything, you kind of make a lot of assumptions.
Yeah,
and so he was talking past them, but he wasn't making himself very clear either.
Oh no, but I've watched a few of those, and they're often a train wreck.
Oh yeah.
Well, and this is where there is a lot of point scoring. There's a lot of I'm going to win, and there's a lot of reductive loyalty oaths. Like, are you an atheist or are you a Christian? Say it right now.
Say it, yes.
And it's like, number one, my oath is not to you. Like, and it's a little more complicated than that. Excuse me, pardon me.
I love the oaths. At Hyundai, they would do that on a regular. They would put up this big white banner.
Say the words.
And they put it up there, and then they made every team member come sign it. I'm like, what are we really doing? Does any, what is this?
Right. And so I'm sticking by Jordan Peterson in the sense of I saw some guy who was on Jason Whitlock's show, forgetting his name. I never even heard of the guy. He's like, I mean, he's just exposed himself. He's a fake intellectual. And, he has all this Soviet era art in his house. He's pretty much just a communist. And I'm like, the amount of idiocy that can sway people in the momentary whim of things is just crazy.
I honestly, the problem is he's too intellectual, if that makes any sense, because he's sort of doing the Aquinas thing of where he's contemplated certain things for so long that he's reached an internal enlightenment that he feels this giant, massive internal enlightenment that he just doesn't possess the earthly qualities to express.
Yeah, he doesn't. He can't put into words.
Which is why Aquinas says that he stopped. He quit writing the Summa. I think Jordan's right there, but it's not from spiritual. It is from a hyper intellectual analysis of spiritual phenomena, which will only take you so far, which is why I think people were so frustrated, because it's like, listen, if you can't say that there is a God and that his son is Jesus and that he raised him up from the dead on the third day, there really is no sense in saying that you're a Christian anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it's kind of like on the other side, you have the Unitarian Universalist.
Oh, sure.
Like, God is this ambiguous, omnibus, gelatinous figure that you can just sort of meld to be whatever gives you meaning and love and hope. That's pretty much the same thing that Jordan Peterson's doing, but it's just seeped in Western philosophy.
I don't think that's what he's doing, because I would say the fruits of what he's doing, I think he has moved more people to Christ than anybody I can think of in the last few years.
Well, again, move them to Christ. To pull a Jordan Peterson, what do you mean by Christ?
Well, that would be the thing to pin down. I'm saying that I think there were a lot of, in particular, young men, but young women too, who were products of the whole new atheist debates in that era. They discovered this guy, and he didn't take them all the way, but he sort of jarred them out of that framework, and they went to church. So when you say define Christ, I mean, like, I don't know for other people.
Well, no, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like when you ask Jordan Peterson to define God, he gives a definition of God that nobody else has.
His definition of God.
His definition is that which I can't quote it verbatim. He's like that which takes ultimate primacy, essentially. In life. And while, like, philosophically, you can say that can become a god to anyone, and I agree with his premise that people will worship something. But whenever you say, like, he's led some people to Christ, I am a Christian, or God, like for someone who believes in Christ, then that has a very, very specific meaning, and it's not nearly as vague as he's making.
He's expanded his definition.
And he didn't do so well in that debate.
Well, there are certain moments. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
There are certain moments where he was trying to get to, if you read his latest book, like he
Which
takes
I have
it.
not done.
Like, yeah, he's like, from this story of Elijah, from this story of Moses, here's a definition of God from these stories.
Yeah, but that is what he
as
does,
opposed to the classical definition.
Well, he's taking like a series of proximate truths that he thinks are fundamental to the being of humans, and therefore prioritizing certain values will lead you to a better outcome as defined by him, as defined by the result. Like, that can be your God. But whereas for a God, for a Christian or a Muslim or a Jewish person, it is a being that is separate, that has a separate consciousness, that created the world, that did all these things. That's far more than a set of principles that you set your sight on and try to achieve. Like, anybody can do that, and I think that's why I know what he's coming from.
Yeah,
but he has to realize why atheists and Christians are going to kind of not want anything to do.
And
with
that's
it.
why that's what I like about him. That he sidesteps that debate that I've heard endlessly now for a long time, and I've noticed him in particular, his move has been more and more to base all those ideas in scripture. So he's essentially doing
scriptures, but those scriptures hold the same profundity to him as Pinocchio. And I'm not being funny.
I don't agree with that. I think he's at a point where I think he believes the scriptures are the fundamental basis of not only our civilization, but hit a deep. He said it in that debate we're talking about. He said, "I've studied world religions, but the Judeo-Christian tradition in particular, as you get into the Gospels, sum up what I've been learning my whole life better than anything else." And he continually, the thing I wrote about I was happy it was popular in 1819, is like, instead of getting the debate of, are you a Christian, are you an atheist, who's correct, he was able to explicate, John 3:16, to Richard Dawkins in a way that was deep and intellectual that Dawkins would understand. I guess he compared it to Moses, telling them lost in the desert, raise up the bronze serpent. And Jesus compares himself to the bronze serpent. The point is, yeah, he can be intellectual, all this stuff, but to millions of people on that podcast, to a world-renowned atheist, he's able to give a very good justification for John 3:16, which is pretty fundamental. I
don't recall that what about John. Again, John 3:16 doesn't seem to necessarily need an interpretation that goes back to Moses, and again,
his point is
repeatedly where the scriptures definitely reference one another, and there's entire archetypal, there's themes that show up over and over and over again. But when he's giving interpretation, say of I'm struggling to remember where he talked about the definition of God given in Deuteronomy was something or another. It was completely just made up, fictional. Like, so you have to at least take some humility in the fact that there are people that believe these things to be literally true, in the sense of the serpent in the wilderness was true. John the Baptist was a real person. Jesus really lived, really died, really raised from the dead. Like, there's no amount of philosophizing and pontificating on the deeper meaning of it is going to make it those things any more or less true.
No, that's fair, but also maybe I was raised too Catholic, that there's a lot of interpretation of scripture that is, this is poetic, this is more allegorical.
Yeah. I mean, there's different literary themes.
This is actually historical.
There's no poetic way to interpret a dead guy walking out of his grave. Like that either happened or it didn't. And so if you try to add this panopsis, this sort of mystery spirituality to the very real and tangible, then if it serves everyone, it serves no one to a certain extent of like, this explanation or this exegesis, it can make sense to an atheist, and it can make sense to this person. It can make sense to that doesn't matter who it makes sense to. The most important thing is how true is it? How directly related? How faithful is it to what God has said? What the scriptures themselves say? So again, it's like I don't know. I haven't kept up with it nearly as much. In fact, the last thing I listened to was that little roundtable debate. But I just wasn't thoroughly. One of the things I was most disappointed in was it goes to show how people value their own opinions, because as soon as the conversation would start to get going, the entire majority would vote him out because I have something to say to that, and it never actually went anywhere. And then there was a couple just insufferable atheist types.
Yes, there were. I just see the work that he's doing is sidestepping the fundamental question that at the end of the day a person must ask themselves, and saying, here, let me give you reason after reason after reason. Here's the cross reference. Here's a way you maybe haven't looked at it. And this is a tradition within the church and Judaism as well that goes way back, and interpreting scripture is it's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah. But let me ask you just a question. Do you think that Jordan Peterson believes the Apostles' Creed or the Nicene Creed? Do you think like he would accept that as he would make that vow?
Probably, yeah. I don't think he would say it publicly though.
Why?
But
see, this is the thing.
The point you made about the Aquinas being struck silent. I think he finds it. Number one, he finds it like he has difficulty putting it into words. Number two, if he does this publicly, it becomes more about him and his own profession, as opposed to showing people to find their own.
Well, and that was another thing about, first of all, him saying, I'm not going to say I'm a Christian publicly in the debate. And he actually said that the destruction of the Amalekites, he was like, was that evil or something? And I believe he answered, yes. That's something that a Christian could never say. Yeah, that's something. So I would like. This is something I wouldn't know or understand unless I sat down.
Right, and this is the point. I think he is very wisely saying the stuff that where he's the limit of his knowledge, his willingness to say something. That's more something he would probably do in private. And doing it in public takes away from. I think sometimes it misses the point. And he did try to say in that, there's all sorts of folks who go, I believe Jesus is Lord, and how many actually mean it. They say it. It's easy to say. Jesus is Lord.
Many will say to me, Lord, Lord, do we not cast out demons in your name? Do we not perform many wonderful works in your name? And I will say to them in that day, depart from me. I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. It's a very deep passage, and it's very, very sobering passage. But I mean, I think that's one that he took he took an interpretation of it. I was like, hey, you're kind of missing the main interpretation of it, which is you might be missing the point. You might be missing. So there's something more to it than saying, hey, Lord, Lord, I'm all about you, because there's plenty of people doing that now. Many people in the Bible Belt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, and anyway, it's an interesting discussion. And I just see a lot of folks seeing the opportunity to turn on him. It's like y'all been sharpening your knives for years, just ready to go after this fella.
Well, he hasn't helped himself with the Israel stuff, very pro-Israel. He just thrust himself into some very deep waters these most recent months.
So we got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Attention business owners. Did you know that about 90% of employees and customers are unhappy when they walk into a dirty building? Let Janny King, the king of clean, keep your business pristine. Janny King's local franchise owners can handle your cleaning needs with reliable, hands-on cleaning solutions that deliver more than just a clean space. Janny King comes with regional support, which ensures consistency and quality, allowing you to focus on all the other needs of your business. Go to JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the king of clean.
Business owners everywhere are raving about ZipRecruiter's new feature, Zip Intro, which does the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates to meet with you as soon as the next day. So we decided to call up some of these employers and hear their stories. Today, we're on the phone with Pilates studio owner Crystal M. Harris. Crystal, how has Zip Intro helped you hire?
Well, I was opening a Pilates studio in McDonough, Georgia, and I needed to staff up quickly. Zip Intro did the work for me. It helped me find enthusiastic candidates who matched my qualifications perfectly.
That's great.
Yeah, I had my Zip Intro session on Tuesday, did all the interviews by Thursday, sent out the offers on Friday, and they started on Monday. Because Zip Intro did most of the work, I saved so much time.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, you can try Zip Intro for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
We're from Washington. We love Febrez's new scent. Refresh and energize.
So much we made a song about it.
I can't escape this feeling inside. Refresh and energize. It's a mood, it's a vibe. Breathing for the first time. So free, so alive. Breathe happy for free. Smells like paradise. Breathe happy for free. La, 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 la.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a frontal system swinging through the state today with showers and thunderstorms out ahead of it for at least part of the day. I think later in the afternoon, the storms move out with today's high in the lower 80s. Then we'll look for some clearing this evening and tonight and cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 59. For the weekend, look for less humid air, comfortable days, cooler nights, plenty of sunshine. Low 80s for a high on Saturday and mid 80s on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/radio. That's HIMS.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Your nightly news begins with Fox 20 News at 9.
We start Fox 20 News at 9 with breaking news.
Putting Montgomery news first. Covering your news from all sides. Fox 20 News at 9 is Montgomery's original 9 p.m. news. Live reports from your community. Don't wait till 10. See what's making news tonight and what you can expect tomorrow. If it's happening in the capital city, it's happening on Fox 20 News at 9. Coverage you can count on.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ben. If your vehicle has seen better days, fear not. Help is on the way. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express has added a professional detail shop. Specialized techniques and products are used to get your vehicle back to showroom shape. Hand washing, waxing, stain removal, odor removal, shampooing, minor scratch removal, and more. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express, next to Fraser Church on the Atlanta Highway. Come by for a free estimate. Look like you've been to Mr. Ben's.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm tired. Just tell them I had to unload an entire truckload of vinyl plank and tallacies today. And our only saving grace is I had 3 18-year-old guys with me, and they're not even breathing hard.
Ray, I still don't understand. If you had those 3 18-year-olds doing it, why are you doing anything besides pointing and telling them where to put it?
Because I can't just sit and watch people work.
I get
Especially
that.
because they ain't doing it right.
I get that, but about the 3rd or 4th box of that stuff is heavy. I'd have found something else to do, Ray. You could have casually walked away. That's what a real boss does.
For the first half of the day, I was on the forklift, unloading the truck. And I was going to make that work the whole way, but then a storm comes up that just absolutely drowns everything. And the Lord loves me because I got the last pile off and under the awning, and then the bottom fell out.
Wow.
So I couldn't just drive around that like I was doing stuff on the forklift rest. Then I had to work.
Yep.
And Angie's going to pay for it tonight because I'm going to be snoring like a Comanche whenever I go. She's the one that's going to pay for this in the end.
Yep.
Snoring like a Comanche.
But hey, listen, if y'all need a floor, vinyl plank, carpet, whatever it may be, call us 285-8117. We're going to come out. We're going to give you the best floor. We're going to work super hard for you the whole time. And next thing you know, you got a floor down, just that simple.
Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them that you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, y'all, have a great day.
See you, bud.
Ray. Now, we got into the whole Jordan Peterson discussion. Thanks, Bob, for just prompting us to go down that road. Especially when we start going down that road, it's like, okay, there went 30 minutes. Just like nothing, but that's some of the best stuff.
And we could talk about it forever mainly because he's so vague. We're trying to figure out what the hell you mean, Jordan.
Right.
Dr. Peterson.
But okay. This was a flight in Orlando, Florida that was stalled on the tarmac. So it's a fully boarded plane. Okay. And imagine you just took the stupid snot-nosed kids to Disney World and they enjoyed it. And, you do it because you love your kids or whatever. But you're ready to get home. Or it could be you're just a businessman, like you're on the plane or whatever. And so you're waiting there hours. Apparently they were stuck for hours on the tarmac. Well, and then they allowed a young girl, because again, she just spent some time at Disney World, to go on the intercom system and do this. How do you feel about this?
No matter how hard I try, every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back is a place I know where I cannot go, where I love to be. See the line where the sky is the sea, it calls me. And no one knows.
Craig's singing.
Somebody's got little kids.
If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. I know everybody on this island everything is by design.
Okay, she goes on. She sings the whole freaking
I would
thing.
throw stones at her aggressively.
Okay, so you sang along, but you were.
Yeah, because I'm on a radio show and I'm having fun. If I'm
stuck in that aluminum tube of death, yeah.
You could take like the most adorable little baby and have them coo next to me, and I would want to DDT it.
Especially, yeah, like you said, the businessman that's just waiting to get home. I'm just waiting to get home.
Meanwhile,
Jake the Snake Roberts taught me this.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting next to like a 280-pound woman in flip-flops and like wearing a bonnet. And she definitely should have gotten 2 seats, but now she only got 1. So now I'm squished into here like a roll of sausage. And all of a sudden, this little girl gets up and starts singing the song that I've heard coming out of the TV a million times.
I know every.
She messed it up. She messed it up. Boo! Boo! Boo!
Would you actually stand up and boo her?
I would. You got the words turned around, dummy. You got the wrong. You reversed the lines. Nice ponytail, ugly.
As someone that's getting ready to fly, we're going to Jamaica in July. Delta over there, but the flight coming back is Frontier, and I'm as nervous as I can be. I haven't flown Frontier in probably 15 years because it's the Greyhound of airlines.
You know, my favorite thing, I'm sitting there waiting on the tarmac in Atlanta on the connection of Montgomery back to Montgomery. And there's a woman sitting next to me, and they're like, the plane is overweight. And I just kind of, I wish there had been a camera on me because I kind of just did this number, like, yeah. And then she goes, wait, is that my bag? Oh, I knew it would be my bag they're taking off. I'm like, well, what's in there? She goes, I have like a 50-pound therapy pillow. I'm like, okay, I kind of like her because she's a little flighty. And I talked to her a good bit. It was only a 40-minute flight. She's a good woman, but like, good God.
Disturbing is when you're getting on some of the crop dusters, especially out in Arizona, and they ask you as you're getting on, how much you weigh? And that's based on your weight is where you will sit on the plane.
I'm sorry. I just find it difficult to believe that there are weight restrictions on a chunk of flying multiple ton metal. It's like, first of all, it's illogical that this thing can fly.
Right.
Are you telling me that my therapy pillow is too much? Okay, sounds good.
That puts it over the top.
Like it's literally, you literally weigh thousands of pounds of metal and you're flying. That's like, if you think about it, it's really impossible. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't
make sense, no.
Same thing with those battleships. They float, huh?
Well, it has to be, I guess, weighted correctly in the sense of, especially a small plane.
Alien technology. I'm sorry, what? That's all I heard.
So you wouldn't like this girl singing?
No,
I wouldn't either.
I would kick her towards an escape hatch and hope that she fumbles and pulls the lever.
Oh, that is something else, though. I do, before I die, I would like to go down one of the airplane slides. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go down one of those.
We could probably arrange that for you.
Well, I don't want to go to jail afterwards for pulling the thing early, but I would
let's
like
call
to go
somebody
down.
over at the Montgomery airport. Say my buddy Eddie on the radio wants to go down a slide.
I'd love it.
We'll book a flight and we'll go on vacation. On the way back, I'll throw a prayer rug in the middle of the aisle and start saying the Shahada until we have to make an emergency landing. Then you get to use your slide.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because, especially with your knees, you got to be able to pop back up, or else you're going to pop a hemorrhoid.
Oh, I'm going to roll this thing down. I mean, I'm going to do the Joe Biden roll down the steps. I'm going to do it on the slide. I'm getting every bit of this slide.
Or like those, what is it? That cheese rolling championship. Did you see those?
I did see that.
And apparently the guy was fine.
Are you kidding me? He did like 100
He's known as like the cheese wizard, and he was seen at the pub afterwards. He was fine.
How? That guy needs to do stunts
Yes,
now.
because that was amazing.
Yes.
He went flying.
I would be just really dead. I would just be dead.
All bones in my body. I'd be a gelatin. Every bone in my body would be broken.
Anyway, we got to get out of here. Happy hour. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 90.